Hello and welcome to the BYB Podcast. That stands for the Backyard Boys.
Backyard Boys.
And tonight, for your special entertainment, we have Zach Waldman, comedian, magician, YouTuber, and former Howard Stern intern. Welcome, Zach. How's it going tonight, brother?
Hey, buddy. Yeah, Howard Stern intern. That was a long time ago. 1997. Holy shit.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to tell the fine people out there in YouTube land that I may have not added in that you want them to know about yourself?
Yeah, maybe you should have said failed YouTuber. I've never really done great on YouTube. But no, that's it, man. Black belt in jiu-jitsu. There we go. 10th planet for life under Eddie Bravo. So, yeah, that's it, man. You're good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. That's very interesting to me that you train underneath Eddie Bravo. Is he around there a lot training with you, or is that just
he's the instructor. Yeah, he's teaches all the class. Well, except for the fundamental classes, he teaches all the advanced classes.
Right. So you hang out with Eddie Bravo on a weekly basis then, huh?
I've been with Eddie since almost the beginning. Like I was just after his original 10th Planet was originally inside of a gym called the Bomb Squad. And I joined up with him after he moved to the next gym, which was a place called Legends. It was actually two Legends. This was the first one. So that was in 2007. And back then he was the only instructor and, training 4 days a week. Yeah. Seeing him. And I used to do a podcast with him years ago. I was the co-host for Eddie Bravo Radio. That was a long time ago. Nobody remembers that one.
Yeah, so he's always kind of been a conspiracy theory type guy. I know he's a comedian too, obviously, but is that something you're into, the conspiracy part of it?
I agree with Rogan on this one. Joe said to me years ago, and I've heard him say this a lot on his podcast since he repeats this all the time, that there's a problem with that phrase conspiracy theory, because when you say that, it immediately conjures up images of the most extreme, wild conspiracies like flat Earth. But there are real conspiracies like Gulf of Tonkin. So,
right.
It's like, you and I could conspire to rob a grocery store, and that's a conspiracy. So, I don't know, conspiracy theory, it's just one of those kind of catch-all terms. I think it's usually used to disparage people that maybe think differently or have different opinions. If you're going to err, I think you're better always erring on the side that the government and the media is lying to you. You know what I mean? It's like, if
Correct.
You're going to gamble on it, they're lying. So,
well, the term conspiracy theory was invented by the CIA. We know that now. So
yeah.
Like you said it.
One time I went on Sam Tripoli's podcast. What's that called? I don't know. It was
tinfoil hat.
Tinfoil.
Yeah, it was tinfoil hat. Yeah. And it was Sam and Eddie, and I was the only non-flat earther on the podcast. And Eddie asked me to come on and said, look, we don't want to debate or anything, just ask questions. So I wrote down like every question that you would ask a flat earther. Like I compiled them all from the internet. Like, if the earth is flat, then why is this the case? And they've got an answer for everything. And like, I've never, like, it was so weird. I felt like I was in an insane asylum. I'm like, there's nobody here that thinks the earth is round. And there's some weirdo that every time I post on Instagram, he likes to comment about the flat earth thing. Like, I don't know what about me got under this guy's skin, but it's like, how's your career going ever since you went up in flames trying to defend, the round earth? Like,
well, maybe that's what it is. He saw that and hasn't been able to give it up. The fact that you disputed it whatsoever.
He's the only person I know that like remembers that episode of the podcast. It's really funny.
Fuck.
But
never work in this town again, Zach.
Yeah. But I love Eddie. Eddie Bravo is a great guy. I think like the same fervor that he applies to learning about conspiracy theories, it's that same mentality is what makes him so great at jiu-jitsu. I mean, he's done just a tremendous amount for the evolution of the sport and the direction it's gone on. I mean, people already recognize it, but I think as years go by, people are going to look back and realize just what an amazing contribution Eddie made to jiu-jitsu. So yeah, I love the guy. He's a great guy. He's always been good to me. He's been a good friend, great jiu-jitsu instructor. I don't have a bad word to say about Eddie Bravo.
Yeah. For sure. I saw an interesting one last week on Alex Stein. They had a flat earther on and a Space Force commander come on, and they were disputing. It was pretty interesting, but I've definitely watched a lot of Tinfoil Hat and Broken Simulation.
Oh yeah.
And
that's cool.
Last year they had a great crossover episode where they had Jim Brewer, it's just Sam's show, but then they had Eddie Bravo on, so it was a pretty action-packed conspiracy episode. Those guys are all really deep into that stuff, and
I
have
love
been
Jim
since
Brewer,
the
man.
90s.
Jim Brewer's the shit. That guy's so great.
Agreed. Yeah, the Bruniverse, something like that.
Yeah.
It's a pretty interesting one. But it's almost all conspiracy stuff too. Like he'll go over, hey, I was here at this comedy set last week, and then the next like hour and a half will be just conspiracy stuff. So those guys are all deep into it. Triple E, he's martial arts too, but I think he's Krav Maga.
Krav Maga. Is he training Krav Maga? I didn't know that.
Right. Yeah, he talks about it a little bit here and there. And I know you guys are pretty much all out in LA, correct?
Yeah. I haven't seen Sam in a bit, but yeah, we're still out here in LA doing it. I'm in Santa Monica. 10th Planet headquarters is downtown LA. But it's I don't know, man. Maybe it's just with age or there's a lot of people care way too much about shit that just doesn't really matter. Just ultimately, it's like, who gives a shit? You want to think the earth? I don't care if you think the earth is flat. I have people say things that like, oh man, how do you, like when I got my black belt, there's a video of me on YouTube. That was kind of funny. I uploaded the video when I got my black belt and nobody really watched it. And I guess one day the YouTube algorithm decided to show it to people because like overnight it got like 50,000 views. And I don't have that many. I have under 1,000 subs on YouTube. And it was funny, the comments that were like, yeah, he deserves a black belt just for having to listen to Eddie's conspiracy theories. And people are just, they get so upset about this shit. And I've had people say, oh, I could never be friends with somebody that thought that way. I'm like, really? Like, what do you care? I care about how people treat me. And if they're cool to hang out with, if they're fun, I don't give a fuck what you believe. It makes no difference to me. You may as well just not be friends with people that have a different religion than you at that point. I don't get it. But
Well, that is the thing.
yeah, I don't know. I've never been that way. Never gave a shit. There's a lot of stuff
Zach,
that just doesn't matter.
I have a question, and hear me out here, okay?
Sure.
Maybe we live on a flat Earth with a dome that the CIA built to keep God out. Huh?
How about this? How about we don't even understand where thoughts come from? And this whole thing we call life is like a big acid trip, and we ultimately don't know a fucking thing anyway. So who cares? It's like if we found out tomorrow the Earth was flat, it doesn't affect anything. I'm still gonna edge and watch Pornhub for hours.
Honestly, I thought that flat Earth shit was just like a joke. I figured it was a meme, and then I realized that there's people that really believe it. But I'm wondering, do you think half of it is like it's just fun to say that you believe in something crazy and to just get people all mad,
Yeah,
I don't know. I
hashtag
feel like
birds
it's a
aren't
troll.
real.
Yeah, it's a troll. That's what I
will
felt
tell
like.
you, Eddie is 100% not trolling. I've known the man since 2007.
Not true.
He is unwavering on these things. If he's trolling, then he is the greatest troll of all time, or at least the most committed troll of all time, because I've never seen anybody more unwavering in their beliefs with this stuff.
Yeah. Oh.
Respect.
I can't speak for the whole flat Earth community, but Eddie is 100% believes it. Did you see? Even Joe got upset with him once a while back. There's an episode where Joe and Eddie got into a heated thing about flat Earth. You ever see that episode of JRE?
I haven't listened to
yeah,
it
I
for
think
like
I
4
have.
years.
I know Eddie Bravo's been on there a lot of times. So over the years, he's been in there quite a few times. So I'm sure they've argued about that stuff quite a few times too.
That was one of the few times though where it got kind of heated between them on a topic on the podcast. But
yeah, maybe not specifically that one, but
Is it like so? All right. I've never really entertained the flat Earth deal. I was fucking around about the dome thing.
you're not too far off.
What if Eddie took a boat? Can you fall off the motherfucker?
People have offered to shoot him into space, and he's like, "Fuck that! I'm not getting in a rocket." He's just set on it, man. There's nothing you could say to that man to convince him the Earth isn't flat. It goes something like this: where the Earth is flat, and we're all in kind of like these different pods with domes over it, and separated by ice walls. So the idea is, I guess, if you could get past the ice wall there in Antarctica, then you would see on the other side of that another dome with another flat planet underneath that. And he even says space itself is fake. There's no such thing as space. The moon is not reflecting light.
What about satellites? How do satellites work then?
Oh, that's what Joe brought up to him. Joe was like, you can get an app that will show you where the satellites are, and you could go out with a telescope.
Space station.
Look at the satellite.
Yeah.
And you can track it. And Eddie ain't buying it, And it's all government technology. But he also thinks the moon is not reflecting light from the sun. He thinks it's actually a glowing orb emitting its own light. I'm telling you, man, it's
Well,
it's amazing.
I don't wish
man.
this. I don't wish this on Eddie, but he might go down that like the last people that thought the flat Earth was real, and with rickets, a fucking debilitating case of rickets. Because when people thought fucking the Earth was flat, a lot of them died from rickets.
What was rickets? Well, that's like an old timey thing. What was that?
It's like bugs or something get under your skin, fucking eat your dick off, something like that. I forget.
There was
I think
when
it's
people would die.
joint thing.
People died from all kinds of weird, like consumption. What the hell is
yeah,
consumption?
Consumption's
tuberculosis. Yeah,
Drinking.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, it was tuberculosis. They called it consumption.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought consumption was just you're over.
No, that's called well, we call that consumption because you're consuming alcohol, I guess. Maybe that's what you were thinking.
Yeah. Damn.
Zach, well, maybe people are you a mentalist, or do you just do straight up magic?
Yeah. I mean, almost every magician I know does mentalism. Mentalism is just one facet of magic, like being an escape artist or
Right.
anything like that. So yeah, I do. My show's a blend of stand-up comedy, magic, and mentalism. I only separate mentalism out because a lot of lay people do. I get calls like, we want a mentalist for our event. I usually talk them out of it. I mean, there's exceptions to every rule, but generally speaking, I like a show that's more dynamic, that has a lot of different things going on. When you watch a guy, it's an hour-long show and it's all mentalism. To me, that's like watching all card tricks or all coin tricks. It's like, it's great, but how many different ways can you write something down, have somebody write something down and you tell them what they wrote down, right? Like, it gets a little redundant. So
I was just thinking, maybe there's been guys like you around since the beginning of time that have like tricked us into believing the round earth theory conspiracy. Maybe we're all under a trance by you magician types.
No, the unscrupulous mentalists are basically, the psychics you see in the boutiques, which, sometimes I think those psychic boutiques have to be like money laundering schemes, right? Because you see these like boutiques in really high rent places, like some psychic boutique right on the Sunset Strip. And you're like, the rent on that place has got to be astronomical. And how many like palm readings are you doing in a day to pay that rent? Like, I don't know. I think it's some kind of gypsy money laundering scheme.
Maybe they do more with their palms after in between customers.
Yeah. Although you wouldn't want
to. We don't do racism. We don't do racism around here, Zach. All right, you don't use the word gypsy. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
Are gypsies? Are they even a race? I always thought that was just
they are.
Really?
I thought
gypsy
was
their own race.
Nation.
Absolutely.
What was that, Adam?
I thought gypsy was like a derogative term for like a certain group of Eastern European.
It can be depending on how you use it, but it is a race, in fact. But if you say someone acts like a gypsy or like something along those lines, then it becomes racism.
Remember that movie?
Zach basically just said the fucking N-word live on air. So
based.
I'm going to continue saying gypsy. I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
We just call them travelers with 2 L's here.
White man from town.
Yeah, hard R.
So remember that movie Thinner?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Stephen King, right? For sure.
What was the movie where Brad Pitt played a gypsy?
Right.
Which one was
bank
it?
job or something like that, right?
Snatch.
The bank job.
No, Snatch.
Snatch. Yeah, just like Granny has a snatch. Right. Same thing.
Yeah.
Crippled piece of shit, dude. I hope you're blind too.
I've been watching Peaky Blinders. There's gypsies in that too. They call them gypsies. I don't know. Yeah, I always thought it was like Lithuanian, like nomadic people. I didn't know it was a race. I just thought it was like more of a lifestyle choice. Like we're a bunch of
it'd be like it.
Traveling
it'd be like if I called
people.
Adam the K word right now. Like if that's the exact same.
You can call me it. I don't mind. I find it endearing.
No, I'm not gonna say that.
I give you permission. It's okay. I'm sorry, Zach. Do I have to get Zach's permission too?
No.
Well, isn't it kind of weird that you like the present day boxer that is the Gypsy King, so he can call himself the N-word of gypsies? I'm the Gypsy King.
Yeah,
I got to tell you, you can say anything. This whole idea that drives me nuts when people are like, you can't say that anymore, or comedians can't do that anymore. There's plenty of comedians. There's plenty of people doing it all the time. I'm more insulted by people that say the fill in the blank word. I'd rather you just say the word. I'm more insulted by this juvenile, like this.
You're putting the thought in their head anyway. It's like Louis C.K. said. You're saying it without saying it. You might as well fuck it. You might as well just say it.
Yeah.
You mean you're saying the N-word doesn't like draw a picture in your mind completely? Right.
I don't want to get you demonetized, Derek, but I mean,
Sure, you don't.
Yeah, right. That's what I was going to say. I'm only beating around the bush because it's your podcast. In real life, I would never say any fill in the blank word. I would just say whatever the word is, whether it's that K word that you referred to. And Lenny Bruce used to do a routine about how you would take all the power out of these words by normalizing them. And I kind of feel like that's where we were before. Like, it's so strange. I felt like with my generation, I thought my generation was the one that really ended all the like racism and shit. I thought like my generation was the one that really didn't care anymore. No one even thought about it. Like the last vestige of it seemed to be squeezed out during like morning talk shows with skinheads where, they had these debates between Klan members and skinheads and
guilty
civil rights leaders. I thought that was like the end of it, and I remember when what was it? Not Jungle Love. Jungle Fever. When Jungle Fever came out, it was like this interracial relationship was a big deal. And I thought like all of that, like morning talk shows and that whole era was like the end of this being an issue. And somehow these leftists have managed to like erase all of that progress and take us back to a place that's worse than it ever was in my lifetime. Like in my whole life, I can't ever remember race being such an issue. Like race and gender have become the biggest issues. And it's only over the last, 5-6 years or something. It's like, I thought we had evolved past this. I can't believe we're still talking about it. It's bizarre. And I don't know how it is that people are getting away with racist policies in the workplace or in the government and how they're not being sued into oblivion. Like what's that latest one where they were giving black-owned businesses money for the immigrants or some shit, but not the white-owned businesses? I forget what the details were on that. You know what I'm talking about? It's all over X right now.
Right. Well, there's been a bunch of examples of that in the last few years, especially like out in Oakland, they were doing the same thing, giving money to like black-owned businesses only, which it's bizarre.
I've seen the video out of Oakland. It looks disgusting. Like Zach,
it's a broken place.
I get a question for you, Zach. How do you stay so positive living out in California with all the nonsense going on right now?
Well, I don't live in Oakland. I don't live in San Francisco.
Thank fucking God, right?
And San Francisco is one of my favorite cities. I haven't been in a long time, but a buddy of mine just had a gig up there and he was like, bro, because I stayed in a really nice hotel and right outside my door was just trash. He goes, I took an Uber to go just a few blocks away because I was afraid I'd get robbed between my hotel and the gig. He's like, it's a nightmare out there in downtown LA. Skid Row looks like the favelas you see in, Rio de Janeiro or something. I mean, so look,
just the shit in the street. That's like third world level shit. I don't know. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, they got the shit maps like in San Francisco, the maps of all the shitty. And the last time I was there was in 2019 and I stayed in a nice hotel right in the middle of town. And it was like you go out the front door, and you're surrounded by homeless people instantly in like some of the nicest places in San Francisco.
I lived in Vegas. So it was crackhead fucking city. It's disgusting out west.
It's really bad. It didn't used to be like this when I moved here. I mean, I live in Santa Monica. One of the reasons, I mean, hopefully things will eventually, the pendulum will swing the other way and I'll be here to see it get nice again. But man, it's tough. Like, where else would I go? I mean, probably the only place I'd want to live would be Vegas. But I mean, it's tough to beat where I live. It's like within walking distance. I've got every kind of restaurant. I've got perfect weather 99% of the time. Right now it's raining. And when it rains, it's nice because it's a change of pace because it happens so rarely. I don't know, man. I will say this. There does seem to be like, they called it the Great Depression. And I realize now, like, why they call it that. There is like this weight like over the whole city. Like people just don't seem happy out here. It's weird. It's hard to explain. It's hard to put your finger on it, but there's just a mood that permeates the entire city. And when you get out of LA, it changes. That's the other thing. California is a huge state. And
Oh yeah.
you could drive a couple of hours in any direction and be in a totally different world. You go up to San Luis Obispo, Cambria, Paso Robles. I mean, it's beautiful there, Santa Barbara. I love San Diego. San Diego is a pretty based city, military town.
You're really close to the border though there. How does that kind of affect the experience?
I mean, just going to the Gaslamp district to go see live music and eat and drink and smoke cigars I don't live there. So, I book a lot of gigs down there. So if I book a gig in San Diego, I do the gig, then I drive to the Gaslamp, park the car, and then go party it up. And, man, a lot of beautiful women in San Diego too.
You ever go to TJ? You ever see like a donkey show?
I've never been to TJ, man.
Yeah.
I'd like to at some point just to see the donkey show. I hear that's always a mistake though, to see the donkey show. I hear like everybody goes like, oh, I'm going to go see the donkey show. And they all regret it. They're like, yeah, don't.
Just watch Clerks 2.
Yeah. Right.
Just don't do it. Yeah. You're from Florida though, right?
Yeah. Miami, North Miami Beach.
Yeah. And you grew up doing magic like as a young man. How did your magic career start?
Started doing magic when I was a little kid. And as I got older, maybe 12 or so, my mom was the one that said, people will pay you to do this. Your older brother used to do kids' birthday parties in old folks' homes. It's when they called them old folks' homes now they call them senior living facilities. But so when I was a teenager, I started performing. I started doing kids' birthday parties in the old folks' homes. And and then I always loved stand-up. I was born in 1974, so the big comedy boom in the 80s, I was around that same age, 86, I was 12, and, cable TV was kind of a newer thing, and there was stand-up comedy just around the clock. There was A&E's Evening at the Improv, and even PBS had a comedy show. That was the first place I ever saw Norm Macdonald. So I've been a fan of Norm Macdonald since I was a little kid. And so always loved stand-up.
Rest in peace.
What's that?
Rest in peace. No,
he was the best. Oh my God, I love that guy. But yeah, I was too scared to try stand-up until I was in college. Rogan did the same thing I did, which is I thought you had to be 21. I didn't know that like I could have gone to an open mic and they would have let me perform. I thought like, all right, as soon as I turn 21, I'm going to finally do stand-up. But I did have a couple of opportunities. I had some magician friends that knew I wanted to try it. And they're like, oh, I got a place you can go to an open mic. But I just chickened out. When at that age, I had a lot of like stage fright, which I have zero now. But at that point, it was like, that was the big thing. I was so scared to just do stand-up. But it was good. I actually quit magic to do stand-up. I was like, no more magic. I'm only going to do stand-up. And that started when I was in college. And then after about 5 years or so, I went back to magic. And it was one of the best things I did because, most magicians are basically like cover bands. They're basically taking shit that's been done for hundreds of years and just doing it. But most of them, most of them are like bad cover bands. They just do a really shitty version of a thing that, they read it in a book.
That someone else perfected.
Yeah. They go, because they'll buy a magic trick that comes with a script. They call it patter, right? And they'll memorize that script and all the movements, and they'll do it just the way it was written in the instructions or in the book. And, that's a piece of advice I give to a lot of magicians is go take acting classes or dance classes or improv classes or start doing stand-up or go to the Moth and start telling stories or do fucking open mic poetry. Find something else to do to learn to connect with audiences and learn how to entertain people without these tricks. Because when you go back to it, and then you learn that, and then you add the tricks back in, then you're a real performer. You could take these things, because a lot of magic's been around hundreds of years, if not thousands. And so, like the linking rings, it's one of the oldest tricks ever. But people are still entertained by it, and there's still people coming up with unique ways of presenting it. But yeah, so that was a really great thing for me, as I started to learn to be entertaining with just my words, with just doing stand-up. And it was like, oh, I could tell all these jokes and do a trick. So that made me a little bit different. And that was the other thing that was different in the 80s. When you'd watch all these
Zach, I have to ask you a question.
Sure.
Speaking of scripts, have you consumed a copious amount of Adderall today?
Zero. This is what it's like.
Not everyone's boring and quiet like you, Granny. Jesus. Not everyone can wear a onesie and sit there quietly for hours.
No, man, I'm a talker, dude. I can talk. But you interrupt me anytime.
No, hell no. It's like sometimes you get guests on that you got to pry information out of, and then when they give you answers, it's like yes, no, yes, no. It's like when I get a guest on that actually has something to say, I usually try to let them go. Unlike Granny, who likes to stop every sentence so he can make it about himself as usual.
You got me on. Your biggest problem is getting me
it's
to
almost
shut up.
Yeah, exactly. No, I prefer your coughing over anything Granny's done today so far.
I got to tell you, I didn't even know I was the guest. I thought we were just doing a podcast. It was like, hey, my guys have a podcast. Come and join us. And I thought we were going to.
It's not a goddamn fucking biography, Zach. This isn't
the
a
fucking man,
biography.
Zach.
I thought we were going to talk about what.
No, actually, it is a biography. I mean, there are things I want to get into, like everything we've talked about so far, and everything we're going to talk about here in the next few minutes, because we're going to get into dabbleverse stuff, and that's all our fucking fans care about is dabbleverse shit, and that's one thing that Granny does not care about. So.
You got to pay them bills, right?
And that's we got to do something. I thought we were just here to talk about what a douche Stuttering John is. So
no, well, that's coming up very shortly.
Yay!
Yeah. I know. Granny's so good about like shutting a fucking show down. He's a pro at it. As a matter of fact, that's the only reason he's here is to totally annoy me. 100%. So does anyone remember what was he talking about, Granny? Let's go back to what he was talking about.
Yeah, he was talking about how fucking Miami isn't really fucking Florida. You might as well just call that South New York. And he does fucking magic tricks. He fucking does stand up. Still haven't heard anything funny come out of him, but that's fine. And he used to work on Stern.
I didn't know I was here to entertain you.
Gray's an asshole. You'll have to excuse him.
He's fine. I like him. No, and the Keys are like the Caribbean. You're right. South Miami is like Cuba. The Keys are like the Caribbean. North Miami's like New York. And the farther north you head in Florida, the deeper into the South you get. Like by the time you get to Jacksonville, that is the deep South. Like that's really Southern Georgia. That's not really part of Florida
Jacksonville. Yeah, I know.
Jacksonville.
I fucked my cousin.
Other way, dumbass. There you go.
Yeah, I did it right.
Yeah, no, what I was saying though was like it was comedy in the 80s, like when you would have all these different stand-up shows on cable TV, they were a lot different than now in the sense that they were almost more like variety shows. You'd have like a guy that was a comedy magician. You'd have a ventriloquist. You'd have even Dice Clay, when he started, he really approached things as more of like an actor doing all these different characters. And the Dice Man was just the character that, for whatever reason, caught on. But
I got a question. Since there's two Jewish fellows sitting next to me right here, are you guys offended that a Jewish fellow went on to become a Italian to become Andrew Dice Clay? He totally gave up his Jewishness just to play a character. What do you think about that?
Most of us are self-hating Jews. We don't care. We understand.
So you're cool with a guy just like putting away the Jewish and picking up the guinea and running with it?
Yeah, but no Pixies.
I'm the worst Jew you've ever met. I didn't have a bar mitzvah. My Mexican friend knows more about Judaism than I do. I'm like the least Jew you've ever met.
All right, you're a Gino then, a Jew in name only.
Exactly.
Fair. Yeah. So college, you're back in Florida, and then you got involved in radio at that point, like around the same time you started doing stand up. Is that like coincides?
Yeah, radio
time-wise?
was a little before that. I went to University of Central Florida in Orlando. It's where I graduated from, UCF. And I got an internship at an oldies radio station that turned into a job, and I became the morning show producer and a fill-in DJ / weekend DJ. I was working there constantly. And then I got a job at an NPR affiliate on my college campus. That was a paid gig too. So I was doing mornings at this 100,000 watt FM oldies station, and then afternoons at this NPR affiliate doing an acid jazz show, playing like Jamiroquai when that was brand new.
Ew, dude.
What's that?
I said, ew.
You don't like Jamiroquai?
Fucking no, dude. Nobody likes Jamiroquai.
I like Jamiroquai.
I like
I don't even know
Jamiroquai.
what a Jamiroquai
What is
is.
It fucking Zach. It shows. Okay, it shows that you like Jamiroquai.
Wow, I assumed everybody knew Jamiroquai. I don't know if that's the name of the
Never
band.
heard
or
of her.
the guy though. Is
I
that
think
the
it's just the
I
guy.
think it's the guy.
All of the videos
I
I've
think
ever
you guys
seen
are
from
making
him
shit
are
up just
really
to fuck
good.
with me at this point.
No,
He makes
it's
excellent music.
jazz.
Everybody's
Jamiroquai.
sleeping on Jamiroquai.
If you fucking like Jamiroquai, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Do you
and,
like
and
Tribe Called
edge
Quest?
yourself. No, but I do like Earth, Wind, and Fire. I do like Earth,
love
Wind,
Earth,
and Fire.
Wind, and Fire.
I like both of them.
Yeah, I saw their tour bus one time in my town when I was a kid.
Oh,
Fuck
very
yeah.
interesting. That's so interesting. Wow, that's neat. Zach, so if you
Wow.
gave Granny some serious advice, he wants to become an open micer. Obviously, I say open micer because he would never excel past that point. Do you have any advice for a guy that wants to go stand up in front of everyone and make an ass out of himself, such
Please,
as Granny
God,
does on
no.
a daily basis?
I mean, look, here's the thing. You got to find the way that works for you. I've never been somebody that like, I've tried it, but like sat down and wrote out material. I think there's value in doing that. It's like thinking on paper, but most of the shit that I've come up with that works is written on stage. You know, Brian Regan once talked about that. He said, I can never sit down and write. When I do that, I try to be too clever or cutesy. There's something about being on stage and the pressure that's put on you from the audience to come up with something in the moment that forces you to come up with something. And
You hear that,
I-
Ray? Sorry, I just had to yell at
Sorry.
Ray DeVito and explain that he does not need to pick up a pen, apparently. He's full of shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
His
some people
brother,
do it
his
that
brother
way.
is sitting right here, dude. His brother is sitting right the fuck here, Derek. Don't fucking disrespect a man in front of his family.
I mean, look, some people that works for some people. I'm not saying that Seinfeld does it that way. He treats it like he's in school. He sits down and writes. It's just, again, I think there's a benefit to doing it, but it might not directly. I mean, maybe you'll come up with something you can use. But for me,
He
what's
won't.
been better is observe, is being hyper observant and just paying attention all the time to here's something. I haven't really developed this into anything yet. This is just the premise. But like I was tying my sneakers and then I started walking out the door and then like one sneaker was tighter than the other. So I was like, fuck, that's annoying. So I untied it and tied it tighter. And now that one's tighter than the other one. And I'm like trying to get equilibrium between my shoelaces like an OCD fucking maniac. And I was like, I bet a lot of people do that. Like get annoyed trying to get there, and so this is something I noticed. And so that's the kind of thing I might go up on stage and just bring it up. like, oh man, I don't think I'm that OCD, but I guess we all have something. And I would just talk about it. And I would see that the audience wasn't responding at all, probably. And that lack of response puts pressure on me where I might come up with I might bring up something completely unrelated just because of the pressure that I'm feeling oh shit, I've talked for a minute without a laugh, and the minute's an eternity without a laugh. So I better come up with something so that, like, I might, if I was going to open mics, if I had just started out, I would maybe have, 5 or 6 things like that. And I would go up on stage and I would speak extemporaneously about them while trying to be aware of how I'm being perceived. That's another big piece of advice I have is put yourself in your own audience. Imagine.
I didn't ask. He's being a dick. I would rather fucking try to jack off to snails fucking than listen to one more of these goddamn stories. Adam, take it away.
I thought you needed help. I mean, you seem like
he does need help. He does need help. He absolutely does.
I don't know if I get a story. I didn't see your
head,
man. It's fucking sweet. What did you use? Kool-Aid?
See, like, I try to help him, and I try to make him good at podcasting. And I run into the exact same thing. He doesn't want to take any of my advice. He doesn't want to listen. He's got pink hair, for God's sakes. What do you expect from a guy like this?
I'm not trolling. I dig it.
I can't do it anymore. I can't. Fuck it. Yeah, no, it's not good. I look like a fucking lesbian that should be screaming at this guy.
Oh, you're too hard on yourself. Stop it.
But I mean, you should have done your beard and mustache. Then you might not look as gay or as lesbian. You do kind of look like a female that's been taking testosterone. In all honesty, that does come across.
I'm getting more of a homeless vibe, really.
Homeless vibe. Yeah. Boom. Now we're getting somewhere with this. And let's really concentrate our focus on Granny. All of us. Point your guns at once.
Weren't you going to ask it? You said you were going to get into the Stuttering John stuff.
Yeah. Well, my last question was about him giving open mic advice. But before that, we were talking about radio stations. Then you started in Florida with the radio stations. I didn't know exactly. Were they shock jock type stations or just normal fucking radio in the 90s?
I started out, it was an oldies radio station. And and that's how we got derailed, because we were talking about acid jazz, and I, doing DJing at that NPR affiliate. And then
I'll take acid, but no jazz. Hold the jazz.
I wanted to do talk radio. That was always my goal in radio, was to do talk. And
like the Golden EIB network type talk, or what? What are we talking?
Well, like Howard Stern or Tom Likas or Jim Phillips, Neil Rogers, all these guys. And so there was only one comedy club in Orlando when I was there. And it was not even a comedy club. It was a room inside of a Holiday Inn called the Comedy Zone. And I really wanted to pursue stand-up. And I thought, okay, I need to move to New York. And so I applied for an internship with Howard Stern. And that was my excuse to move to New York. And then, that was it. After Howard Stern, I went to work. After he fired me, I went to work for the first full-time internet-only radio station in the world. So I worked there. That I don't really count that as a radio station. Then I went to work for
Radio IO. Wait, hold up. Was it Radio IO?
No, it was called Grit. And their main competitor was Mark Cuban's AudioNet. And then I went to work for Kenny Kramer, the real Kramer, the guy that was the bassist for Seinfeld.
Oh shit!
Then I moved to Chicago and
the bassist. He played the do right. The bassist.
What?
Oh, bassist. You said bassist. I thought you said bassist. Like he did the Kenny Kramer You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. But
like
no,
the
Kenny
theme
Kramer
song,
was
yeah.
the real Kramer.
I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, yeah. I know. I got
Jews were supposed to be funny, dude.
So then after Kramer, I moved to Chicago, and that was I worked at 890 WLS as a producer, and that was the last job I had in radio. And that was it.
Yeah, I know. So you did Second City in Chicago too. Did you do all that at the same time, or did you give up radio to do Second City?
No, I never did the Second City. I went to the Players Workshop at the Second City and did their 1-year program. That was the original training center for the Second City. But shortly after I moved to Chicago, I got into a comedy troupe called Low Sodium Entertainment. So I was working at, I was performing in Low Sodium, working at 890 WLS, and had a couple of other jobs while I was in Chicago. I was a trolley driver doing tours of the city. That was one of the best things ever for my comedy, because it was like having this captive audience for 10 hours a day and talking shit. So that was fun.
Like historical tour or what?
No, it was this like open air trolley, and you had a handheld microphone and you drove the trolley with the other hand, and people bought a pass. It was like a hop on, hop off thing, and it went around a route. So like they could hop on at Navy Pier, ride the trolley, get off at the Art Institute, hang out there, get back on the trolley, go somewhere else. And you were allowed to say anything you wanted. Like some guys didn't give a tour at all. They were just like bus drivers. There was one black guy that used to blast gospel and just scream, like hallelujah and amen and shit. That's all and people loved him. I did like a comedy tour of the city. I would point out shit and make fun of it, or just say, like, it was this. I'll tell you a story. Hopefully, the homeless guy.
Stories.
You don't want to hear a good story? Okay. Listen, hey, cocksuckers, what do you want me to on here for? What do you want to talk about, you dumb fuck?
Is Sam Tripoli gonna kill
Yes.
Never thought in my life I would say this, but please move on.
You take a shower, you dirty looking, obnoxious cunt.
You heroin-y scumbag.
Shower.
And
then
I
again,
love your no hair over one eye. You're like a gay fucking pirate that couldn't afford a patch. What a fucking douche. What do you want me to talk about? I will talk about whatever you want me to talk about.
No, anything other than what Granny wants to talk about. No, so back to Stern.
He's got no D on the end of grand. I guess he's missing his D also. What are you dickless, ballless sack of shit? What do you want to talk about?
Get him, Zach.
I want to get back to Howard Stern myself. That's where we're going right now.
What's the story about how you got fired? I thought that was an
No. Let's go ahead and just figure out where. So, did you work at? Did you do Howard Stern in LA or in New York?
New York.
Only?
I was there when that's where the show was broadcast from. I was there when Private Parts came out. I was at the premiere of that, all that shit.
Right.
The height of Sternmania.
Yeah, you're just a couple of years older than me, so I remember going to the movie theater and watching Private Parts when I was 18. I graduated in 97, so
it's a great movie. A good movie.
Yeah, it really was a good one back then. And whatever, I watched a little bit of Howard Stern in the 90s, but mostly like early 2000s myself. Just because, I don't know, the West Coast market, I don't think people on the West Coast watch Howard Stern nearly as much as it was a household in the East Coast. Everybody watched it. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows everybody that was ever on any show. So yeah, you definitely worked there for like a year, like an internship for a year,
like 9 months. I was an intern / producer. They did pay me as like an independent contractor for some work, because I was the only intern that actually left a real job in radio. Because I worked at that oldie station for like 2 years, and so I had all of this experience. They were like, "Well, let's put them to work," and so they did pay me for shit. All of the interns did next to nothing. They answered the phones. They
speaking of interns that only answered the phones, Terps McGurk, $1.99. Zach, what has Shuli Egar's impact on comedy been? Speaking of what I
never knew Shuli. That I was before Shuli was there.
Right. Yeah, he was like mid 2000s.
Yeah, I like Shuli. I've never met him, but I like what I've heard from him. He seems like a good dude. I don't know.
Yeah, he's
Was
been
he-
on our show. He's
Is it
definitely
confirmed that
heavily
he was,
involved
like-
in the dabbleverse versus Stuttering John, who I know you have some things to say about. We'll get into that here in a minute. But have you ever
it
seen
confirmed-
Shuli do comedy?
Just clips online? Is it confirmed that Shuli was the mole from that? What do they call it when Stern had that meeting where he dressed everybody down? That the leaked audio from that meeting.
I don't think so. No.
You know what I'm talking about? What do they call that thing?
Yeah, Shuli was at that meeting. He told me, I interviewed Shuli before. He told me no.
Oh, okay.
That he was not
Right.
the one that recorded that.
He wasn't the
Right.
one that leaked the audio.
But he was there.
Yeah.
And Adam, you've been around. You're OG dabbleverse guy, right? You've been around since
Yeah, I don't
Chrissy
like to
asked
brag,
the
but, you know.
fatal question: do you indeed dabble in comedy? How dare you, motherfucker?
Yeah, that really was a better time for the Dabbleverse. But no, to be honest with you, like I haven't been following anything that's going on. I haven't listened to WATP in over a year.
Lucky
But,
dog.
Yeah, right. You know what? I mean, it's entertaining, but it kind of drives you a little mental. I had to tap out after a while, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
yeah,
honest, man.
I'm losing it.
Yeah, the Stuttering John. I think a lot of people are, but the Stuttering John stuff and WATP, it was like I remember during the COVID summer, like that. Excuse me, sorry. That show was like the only thing that I fucking looked forward to. So, you know what I mean? There were some really good times, but I just yeah, I don't know. I'd been there since kind of the beginning. I had to kind of tap out of it.
Granny, $2. Oh, he thinks he's famous. I used to call Bubba nerd. Bubba the Love Sponge, huh? You familiar with Bubba the Love Sponge, or what's the other guy's name?
I don't know
Shit.
who is he talking about me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
I definitely
Yeah,
don't think I'm
yeah.
famous. I don't know. I'm just answering questions. Definitely am not famous. Maybe infamous, but not famous.
No, whoever
I,
that Granny guy must be a total idiot. He sounds like one.
Son of a bitch. Yeah. How dare you disrespect our guests?
Do you guys you watch Red Bar?
Yeah, I've been known to watch Red Bar on occasion. Is there any reason you bring that up?
Well, he was. I didn't know that he went to that Elon school. There's a documentary about The Last Stop. I'm getting ready to watch that. You familiar with that at all?
Elon School. No, negative.
It was some boarding school that was crazy expensive where they abused the shit out of the kids. And he was one of the students there. And they made a whole documentary about it. It's on Amazon Prime. And I wasn't aware of this. I was watching some Red Bar and he was talking about it. So I was just curious if you had seen that. I have I'll tell you what I do like about Red Bar. I mean, he's upset a lot of my friends. I know he upset Sam Tripoli and
Oh yeah,
Joey Diaz, and these guys are friends of mine. So of course I
Joey
gotta
Diaz
stick
ended up blocking me on Twitter too. Sorry,
Who blocked you on Twitter?
Joey Diaz.
Really? Why?
I just said Red Bar. I just kept saying Red Bar underneath his tweets. I just comment or I'd just say Red Bar, and he blocked me.
Oh well, the one thing I get about Red Bar is he seems like the closest thing that we have to Howard Stern now, like a guy that is really just pissing everybody off, right? Like
Right.
total punk
Against the
rock.
grain. Right. Doesn't give a fuck what anyone thinks about it. Does this thing. Yeah, he's had a lot of whatever. He's gone after pretty much anybody that's anybody.
His prank
Yeah.
phone calls are the funniest though. Look up Red Bar prank calls; those are good.
I'll check him out. Yeah.
Sheila Aliens. Joey Diaz is unhinged. He threatened to harm Red Bar and his wife. Get real. Yeah. I also know like what Red Bar had Sam Tripoli show up to his house because of the stuff he was doing about his kids, and he got super pissed off and ended up going out to his house and was like, "All right, I'm here, motherfucker." He was getting
Yeah, it
pissed.
was like buzzing his door.
I mean, at some point
Yeah.
he's got to try
I think-
to kill Mike, right?
I think he was gonna whoop his ass, bare minimum. I don't know.
But I mean, he's got to keep trying, right, Zach?
I at this point, I don't know. I haven't talked to Sam in quite a while. I have no idea. It's probably not even on his radar anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I think it would be a mistake. I don't know what happened to Sticks and Stones, right? Like,
did you hear about Sam though? He kicked some people out of his comedy shows because there were a lot of people that were heckling him. There's this thing called Red Bar in the Wild where they get somebody that Red Bar hates to acknowledge him, and they'll send somebody to his show and they'll go, "Hey, Red Bar asshole, Red Bar," and then they'll film it and they'll record it and I guess there were a couple times, yeah.
That's kind of like the shit Stern used to do.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's funny. I think Howard
Baba Booey. Like that shit out in the wild, like in someone's backswing at golf events, like fucking with all of the golfers. I love that.
It went way beyond that. If there was somebody Stern was at war with, he would tell his minions, like, go after this person. He wrote about it in his book, I think, where he was like, people would call him and go, please, call them off. I'll do whatever you got to do, but I'm being harassed everywhere. And it's just Howard used to be like Red Bar, but I think at some point he wanted to become, part of the cool kid club. Instead of being punk rock, he was like, you know what? I'll go on an apology tour, become politically correct, and do a really boring, saccharine, vanilla show so I can be accepted by all the people in Hollywood I used to rail on. Howard's show is almost unlistenable now.
You ever listen to him? I know you got Sirius XM, Zach. You ever fucking listen to Howard at all? Just for the hell of it?
All I listen to on Sirius is pretty much Jim and Sam and music. I will.
Oh, that's awful. I'm sorry, Jim and Sam.
I love Jim and Sam. You don't like Jim Norton and Sam Roberts?
Their show? No. I don't mind them as people, but the show, I think their show sucks. And I love being Anthony. Show. I just thought it was.
What about Nikki Norton? Do you like Nikki Norton? Are you into that?
Yeah. What about that?
She's pretty hot. I'm a huge
That's a dude.
What?
Yeah.
So
not everyone gets tricked as easy as you do, Granny. Sorry, bud.
No, yeah, but I'll listen to Stern once in a while. I'll just be like, all right, let me just go hate listen. And I marvel at how unlistenable it is. That show is so bad.
There's no cringe value.
Yeah, just like our fans making fun of us now. Jesus, Zach, you're gonna have to up it somehow. I don't know what we're gonna have to do here, but hey man, Uncle Jack, $5.
Carry your show. I've got.
I didn't know that our fans were gonna react like this. I'm sorry, man. Can the boring guy read the terms of service for my iPhone update?
Jesus Christ, tough crowd, huh?
They are. They're the toughest crowd. They're the worst. I hope you do some heckler work tonight. You can tell all these people, put them in their place.
If you knew how little I gave a shit.
No, that's perfect.
Call them homeless, Zach.
That's the perfect amount of give a shit if that's the most you give.
What was the last really good Jim and Sam show that you listened to? And I'm only curious. I'm not even giving you shit for it, but I'm curious as somebody that I tapped out at Jim and Sam.
I'll tell you why I think I like it. I think because I appreciate how quick-witted Jim is. And I think it's like any show. The more you listen, you get to know the cast of characters better and their personalities and like recurring jokes and stuff.
Is there any angry Jimmy left at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes he'll go off on a rant.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Like it's I don't know. I just think he's funny. I think they're all funny. I love Mike Montone. He cracks me up. Oh, I like the show.
Well, you're also into the wrestling stuff too. Where I feel like if you're not into the wrestling,
wrestling, dude. I haven't watched wrestling.
But you know what I mean, though. They like Sam Roberts has incorporated a lot of his. I feel like the complaint I think with the people that aren't happy with Jim and Sam, I feel like a lot of the old audience O&A audience thinks that like Jim and Sam kind of make that show for themselves and not for an audience.
I don't know. They bring on a bunch of great comedians I like. I love Colin Quinn, and they bring on Mark Norman and Sam Morril a lot. Those two are two of my favorites right now. I love those guys. I don't know. I like it. It's an enjoyable show.
I listen to the Colin episodes for sure.
It's like, I put on all kinds of shit while I'm doing the dishes or, practicing or whatever. So to me, it's just background shit to have on. It's like, do I feel like putting Rogan on or Jim and Sam or, some other shit. So,
you ever listen to Steel Toe? Are you familiar with Steel Toe?
No.
Yeah,
How about Stuttering
he's
John? You ever put Stuttering John on to listen to?
No, that never happens. Oh my god.
He does a show pretty much every day. I was on it today, as a matter of fact.
I didn't even know he
how
still
was
had
that?
a show.
Oh, whatever. He sent me. I was taking a shower, and he sent me a link to pop on because I guess people were. There was a reason he wanted me on. I think it was mostly because you were coming on today, Zach, and I let him know that yesterday. So he hit me up and was like, "Oh, that guy trashes me all the time." So apparently, you were friends with Stuttering John at some point. That's what he claims.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So he blocked me on Twitter, by the way. This is the deal. Well, I'll try not
He
to
blocked me
bore-
on Twitter, and I was on his show today. So that's, if you're wondering how that works, that's how that works.
I'll try not to bore the grandfather there, but
No, destroy
was-
Stuttering John. That'll put a smile on his face, I guarantee.
when I was a brand new intern on the Stern show, I meet John. I go, "Hey, how are you? And what's your name, Zach? Oh, I'm going to call you. I forget if he called me Ball Zach or Scrotum Zach. Like immediately, that was like it wasn't like I'm a fucking intern working for free from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. doing anything anybody wants. And when you say hi to me, that you've met me in under 30 seconds, you're calling me Ball Zach. Okay, whatever. You're busting balls. That's fine. I'm a ball buster. It's not a big deal. But God forbid but God forbid you goof on him and he would get so upset. He would just, so sensitive. It's like he had no problem busting balls left and right, but you goof on him just one iota and he would turn into a big baby. Anyway, he wasn't that fucking cool with me until his band was playing and he invited the interns to see his band. And I was the only one that went. And this is the most I've told this story before. The most shocking thing is he actually bought me a beer. No one can believe that Stuttering John actually paid for anything for anybody.
Damn.
But although he might not have bought it, the bar probably just gave it to him since his band was playing. So I saw a change in John when I went to support his band. All of a sudden, it was like he was a lot nicer to me, and I considered him a friend. And then years go by, and he reaches out to me. This is the short version, believe it or not. He reaches out to me for a Magic Castle pass, and I gave it to him. And no thank you, no nothing, no like, hey, we went to the castle and it was great. Nothing, just, hey, can I have a pass? Here's a pass. Don't hear from him. And then I would, be working on something, and I'd say, hey, man, I've got, I don't know, I'm performing at the castle. Can I put you on my guest? I'll put you on my guest list. I'd love for you to see my show. No response at all. Then months would go by. Hey, can I get a pass to the Magic Castle? Send him a pass. Hey, John, I just, I've got a new bit I'm working on. Here's a video of it. Tell me what you think of this bit. You're supposed to be a comedian. You're supposed to be a Tonight Show writer. What do you think of this? No response. The guy would just blow me off. It was like I'd only hear from him when he wanted something. And anytime I reached out to him as a supposed friend, he ghosted me. And I didn't care. It wasn't that big of a deal. I'm like, all right, he's a flake, typical LA nonsense.
Well, that doesn't sound like the Stuttering John that I know.
So then when I saw the Chrissy Mayer thing, I just thought he was such a dick to her that I was like, I literally, like, as I'm listening to it, I was writing down just funny things I noticed. I'm like, I got to make a response video to this. And I wasn't really big into making response videos, but there were so many things. And then, of course, the dabbling thing, I picked up on that right away, just like everybody else did. And so I made that video, and next thing I know, he blocked me, and that was it. But it's like, dude, it's busting balls. Like you can't, you're a ball buster. If you're going to dish it out, you got to be able to take it. Like what's
Right.
the big deal? Like if we're friends, why not call me up and go, dude, that video, it hurt my feelings. Oh, really? I hurt your feelings? I just thought you came off kind of douchey and I was just busting balls. But if it hurt your feelings, man, I'll take it down right now. You're like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I didn't know it was going to bother you that much. I don't ever want to hurt anybody's feelings except for maybe the the grandfather there. He's really fucking annoying. But generally speaking,
You have no idea.
but generally speaking,
Well, Stuttering John came on our show, and then he was busting balls around the room and fucking like was going hard after Lemmy and another guy on our show, and they started giving it back to him. And yeah, he definitely does not like it coming back at you, but it's hard to decipher where is someone busting balls and where are they just being a total asshole, right, Granny?
Yeah, Zach. Basically, what I've learned from this long, drawn out,
Nothing. You learn nothing. You've
story
learned nothing. As
that,
usual, every episode is a learning nothing experience for you, isn't it?
Two autistics do not make a right. I have learned that tonight. Okay. You got Zach that's autistic. You got John that's autistic. You put those together, you get whatever the
John's
fuck just
autistic.
happened here tonight.
Adam or John?
Yeah, am I chopped liver or what?
You can't even say his name. Did you say John or Adam?
Okay. Here's what I'll do.
All right.
You-
Thanks
you
for
get
your
autistic,
adding to the
Zach.
show again.
I was gonna say
Sorry,
Lemmy
appreciate
has
it.
contributed more to the show than the grandfather, and she's barely said a word. It's amazing.
Sometimes the less said, the better, right?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
But look, the point is, yeah, I figure, hey, we're a couple of East Coast guys busting balls. We're giving each other shit, but at the end of the day, we're cool. And I was surprised when he blocked me on Twitter. I didn't know he could have reached out to me. He could have told me he was upset about it, and I would have said, all right, man, I just thought you came off like a douche, but if it hurts your feelings, I'll take the video down. But the man has never responded to me. The only time we've had any interaction since 1997 is him asking me for favors and then ignoring me when I reach out to him for anything. You know, I never asked him for, you know, I mean, when I say asked him for shit, even the shit I asked him about was really me offering something like, hey man, I'm performing at the Magic Castle. If you want to be on my guest list, I can get the cover charge waived. You don't have to have dinner. You could just come in for drinks and shows. You could see my act. You've never seen me perform before. Come on down. Radio silence. Like, dude, I don't know what to tell you, man. You only respond. You only talk to me when you want something. So
Stuttering John is a bad man.
I don't hate the guy. I feel bad for him. I feel like he had so many amazing opportunities that he squandered, from being lucky enough to be on the Howard Stern show and for Howard to give him a job and to blow him up, and then to go to Jay Leno and make the ridiculous money he made on Leno, to having to actually convincing a woman to marry him. And it's like, dude, you squandered so much good fortune. I feel bad for the guy. That's why I don't like to just shit on him constantly. But then when I start to feel bad for him, he does something so dicky. You're like, oh, I get it, man. It's like, on one hand, I feel bad for you. On the other hand, you just keep digging the same douchebag hole that it just gets deeper and deeper. I don't know. I don't think he can be honest with himself. I think it's a big part of the problem.
Right. Well, that's kind of why the entire dabbleverse has been built around him.
But everybody's wrong, right? We're all assholes. We're all crazy. He's the one that's doing great, and he's right, and everybody else is wrong. And I didn't come here to trash him. So I saw a message there, former intern coming on to trash John. I don't want to trash John. I'm just a ball buster. I was just goofing on him. To me, it was just a goof. It wasn't like I don't hate the guy. Like I said, if anything, I just feel bad for him. It's a shame,
Right. So you pretty much just worked with him for 9 months, and then you had your famous incident. I don't know how many people are aware of this, but you are part of the Howard Stern lore at this point. This is one of the bigger events that happened back in the 90s. I'm sure most Howard Stern fans remember this. But it has been a long time, so if they don't remember it, we'll play it for them so they can refresh their memories.
I gotta sit through this again.
Oh yeah, I know, man. It's your deal, but I'm gonna go ahead and play this now, and I'm gonna let my dogs out, and then we'll discuss your.
And I'm gonna
Howard
get some
Stern.
water. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, good timing.
Now for the strip show, Too Hot for Howard Stern. The radio shock jock is known for having naked women on the show, but when a male intern dared to go bare, he says Howard fired him. Phil Schumann has this extra exclusive.
That is the first naked lady in the history of radio.
In his hit movie, Private Parts, Howard Stern shares the humor that took him to the top of morning radio, getting women to strip to their private parts. So you wouldn't think the sight of a naked man in his studio would stun Stern.
Howard was dumbfounded. I managed to shock the king of shock.
Yes, last Friday, 23-year-old intern Zach Waldman stripped, streaked, and shrieked on Stern's morning show.
This is our intern. Our intern just ran in here naked.
Well, I snuck into one of the production rooms, took off all my clothes. At first, they were a little nervous because it just came out of the blue, but once you realized what was happening, it became a real big joke.
I tell you, man, you got guts doing that, man. I tell you, you must be crazy. Well,
But Zach isn't laughing about his crazy antics this morning.
Postal jobs, it's a little appropriate.
We found Zach searching the want ads and hitting the...
Yeah, so anyway, so you pull the stunt, you go on to Howard naked, and you plugged your brother's nightclub down in Florida.
Yeah, my brother had a jazz and blues nightclub in Hollywood, Florida. And so I went in there and promoted that and gave him a plug. And yeah, you get it. They aired it. When I did it, it was live on the radio, but they aired it on the E channel. Remember years ago, the E show?
Yeah, because when I was watching it, I was watching it on E late at night. And whatever, you know, as a teenager, I really did want to see all the porn stars and everything that was happening back in the day. So I was all about watching that.
Yeah, it was, I think when I was live on the air, it was about 45 minutes. And then the E show was edited down to like 22. And yeah, so there you go. And then, you know, it's funny how many people did shit way crazier than that after me and they still work there. Richard and Sal, I love those guys. I've never met them, but I love them on the show. And they've gotten away with murder compared to the shit I did. Like they've done shit way worse and they still work there. So I don't know what it was about me, right? Why they axed me.
Yeah, fucking Sal was really
Right.
creepy, some of the shit he did.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you had like Luke Perry was there standing, like he brought you out to get fired. Could you tell us that part of it?
No, what happened was part of my job was like when there was a guest, you'd go in the green room and you would escort the guest from the green room into the studio, give them their chair so they knew where to sit, give them their headphones, adjust the microphone, kind of, you know, show them where everything was. So I was naked and Howard thought it'd be funny to have me bring in Luke Perry naked. So that was the thing is I went to the green room. Hey, Luke, I'm Zach, the naked intern. I'm going to take you into the studio. And so I escorted Luke Perry into the studio naked. So that was just a thing that Howard thought would be funny to do.
It's funny. Yeah. So what was Luke Perry's idea? Did he freak out or did give a shit? Or
no. I think they asked him ahead of time. I think they said, hey man, we want to do this thing. Are you cool with it? He's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Yeah, he was cool.
It was a setup then. Anyway.
Yeah, so how scripted was stuff on Howard? Was a lot of that stuff just scripted basically? Like when you were there at that era?
No, the only,
as we call them, works in the biz.
Yeah, the only works that I can speak definitively about are like I used to work for the guy. There was a guy that had a company. I don't think he still does it because I don't think it's a thing anymore. But he would hire like comics and improvisers to play characters to be to call into radio shows as fake guests. So like I did that for a Man Cow a bunch, and Howard Stern, they used the same guy. And so when you would hear somebody calling into the show and they were like really outrageous, it's hard for me to think of an example off the top of my head, but it would be like, trying to think of one I did for Man Cow as an example. Man Cow, what a douchebag that guy is, huh? He's like the worst.
So did you work for him or you just did
No. I worked for this
skits?
company. Like this company was called Electric Eel Entertainment. Again, I don't know if they're still around. And no, this company had contracts with radio stations. So I never worked for Mancow. I worked for Electric Eel. So this guy would call me and he would say, all right, we need you to call into Mancow tomorrow at this time. And here's your character. And they would give me the character. And then I would pretend to be that person. And Stern used the same company. So
You ever do War of the Roses?
No. But I think the Mancow, like I'm trying to remember this one Mancow one. I think it was something like I was punishing my kid. Like I caught my kid stealing or something. And I was punishing my kid by having him like wear a billboard that said, I'm a very bad child or whatever it was. And my kid was apparently like 6 or something. It was all just made up shit. So, same thing on Stern. There were people like, okay, I'll give you an example. Do you remember the person that claimed to have had, what the fuck was it?
The mob connected guy or the serial killer or like
no. The mob connected guy was Henry Hill. He was real. I met Henry Hill. That was the guy from Goodfellas. No, Henry Hill was a real mobster. No, there was a guy. Oh my God, I just had a brain fart. Someone recently brought this up where someone claimed to have had like a body part or something that they brought on the show. Oh, what the fuck was it? It'll come back to me. But there were people that, that were really outrageous and they were fake. Those were works. Maybe not all of them, but the really far out ones were, and it's funny because Howard used to say about Mancow, Mancow's such a fraud. His guests aren't even real. Meanwhile, Howard was doing the same exact thing that he was claiming Mancow did. They both did. A lot of.
What's Jezball? What are you guys fucking talking about in the chat?
It's
side chat.
3.1 game. That's what you're playing, Granny, right?
Yeah. I've completely zoned the fuck out because this is intolerable. But yeah, I'm level 14 in Jezball right now. I still have 4 lives.
What is Jezball? What's Jezball?
Is it hard?
Computer game?
It can be difficult. It's like a browser game.
It's like a strategy game. It's fun. It's a little mindless, fun little reflex. I don't know what you'd even could call it. It's a cool game though. It's an old school Windows game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lemmy, what are you eating? What are you having?
You should
goldfish.
You should practice doing a comedy, Granny. Oh wait, that's right. You're not funny. No, so the works at Howard Stern, you guys like sit down in the morning and have production shows, and you're like, hey, we're doing this. Do you go over all of that stuff?
Maybe they do now. When I wasn't part of any of that, and I don't know if they did that back in the day.
So you guys just came in completely cold and just started the show. You hit the live button, and whatever happened.
Oh yeah, Howard literally would walk into the studio like as the music was playing and sit down. Yeah.
And then the live button, or I mean, like there had to be some production, obviously, right? You have producers. They were there just to turn lights on and hit the live button.
Yeah. I mean, when you say hit the live button, I mean it was Fred would play the music and Howard would come in and hit the mic, turn the mic on. He controls all of he runs his own board. Yeah. I mean, there's people there before then, like. There was one job that this one girl I filled in for her when she was on vacation or whatever for a week. And that girl had to be there at like, I don't know, 4:30 in the morning or something because she had to do all this shit with affiliates around the country. But no, for the characters, that was all through that company. They would set that up and the company would call you and you would say, all right, call in at this time. And this is your character. And then you'd have a few different ideas for things you would say, and then you'd go call in and pretend to be that character.
Yeah. So Uncle Jack says this dude walked in and they said, "Strip, dummy."
Mine was not a work. Mine I did all on my own. Mine was like, I had a friend of mine from high school, and I told him, I said, "This is my plan," and we had a lot of different ideas, and some of them were probably too far. So he helped me work out a plan, and that was all me. Nobody knew what I was going to do except for like my friend from high school and
your brother, I assume.
no, my brother didn't know. I think my sister.
Yeah,
As
but
I
you were
said,
doing it for his benefit, so that's
Yeah, I wanted him to be surprised. I think I told my sister because I wanted to make sure I had a tape of it. And I said, look, I need you to tape the show tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you why. And I can't remember. It was too long ago. But yeah, there was only like maybe 2 people that knew what I was going to do.
How long were you out of work for? Were you fucked after you did that?
No, I got hired immediately after.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
How about like Wack Packers or celebrities? You got any awesome stories, or do you just?
Oh, Jesus Christ! When I thought it couldn't get any worse.
No, he gets worse. Trust me. He's got plenty of downside from here.
He's
Look at
gonna
that
get you
wonky nipple,
monetized.
for
That's what he's
example.
gonna do.
Downside.
Hey, Granny, show him that horrible looking tit. Show him your horrible
I'm
tit.
doing my fucking.
Show him your
Zach
horrible
impression,
tit.
dude.
Show him your horrible tit.
Jesus Christ!
See that wonky fucking weird thing on his chest?
chubby.
That's a teat.
Now I understand why he's such an angry guy. I get it now. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm angry.
Why? Why is
Just
that?
looking at that tit, I get it.
Ooh,
I
the
get the
rage.
anger.
I could just see the rage coming off of him.
Oof.
I was just doing my Zach impression, dude. This is
Your
how I
tits are
got famous,
wonky.
too.
My God.
Why are your
I know,
tits so wonky?
We've been over this a lot of times, Derek.
I know.
okay?
I really like going over it because it's a thing. It's
I only
a
wish
real
I had the
thing.
confidence to take
I
my
wouldn't
shirt
take
off.
my shirt off if
Yeah.
exactly.
Nobody wants to see my fat, flabby man tits.
Whip out your fucking tits, dude.
That fucking
Pay
Jew-
Zach and
No,
Owen.
that's not what we're here for. That's not what we're here for. We're not
Jew
doing
man
more
tit.
naked gags. Zach has had enough trauma
Fucking
in his life. Leave him alone.
Pussies. All right.
Wack
Yeah, no,
Packer. So
those are
obviously
great-
you got to work with
those are great Wack
Beetlejuice.
Packer stories. I met Crackhead Bob.
Ooh, crackhead Bob. Nice.
Yeah, and he was a good dude.
Did
but
you ever
yeah,
have to weigh shit?
No, never had to weigh any shit. I don't have any crazy like Wack Packer stories. Nothing like really weird with that. I'll tell you, hands down, the coolest guy on the show though was Jackie. Jackie the Joke Man was the fucking coolest guy on the whole show.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude.
Yeah, he goes on
yeah.
the Anthony Cumia show a lot, so we still get to see him around, and those are always interesting interviews.
Who was
Jackie's the
shitty to you,
man.
Zach? With the shitty ones.
Robin and
Besides
Fred.
Stuttering John?
Yeah, right. no
Robin
kidding.
was, huh? Wow.
Yeah, John and I were, like I said, we were cool. As soon as I went and saw his band, he was like, oh, he actually came out and supported me.
How bad was his band? On a scale of 1 to 10, how
Oh,
bad
yeah.
is Stuttering John's band?
They really weren't bad, man. It's funny. They had this one song that always stuck with me about like the, what was it? The Kaiser or something. I can't remember what the song was like. They weren't bad, man. I can't shit on his band. They were fun. It was a good time.
Really? No.
I mean, look, this is a long time ago, and I don't remember much, but I remember going, "Oh, this isn't bad. This is kind of fun." But yeah, Fred and Robin, they were the 2 biggest cunts on the show for sure.
Yeah, Fred seems like a difficult guy, but he wrote all of the questions that I guess Stuttering John, like Stuttering John, he went and got hired by Jay Leno, but it's because Jay Leno thought that this guy was out there with his own questions, fucking with celebrities. Come to find out, he wasn't. That's like the biggest complaint people have with Stuttering John is that he like snuck his way onto Jay Leno and that he's not very funny or original. Is that in your experience? Was he?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't write those questions. It was Fred and Howard and Jackie.
Fred
it was a group
mostly,
effort.
right?
They all sat around and wrote that shit. Well, that's what I was saying about John. It's like, here's a guy that's like no discernible talent, and he's like Joe Piscopo. He's just lucked his way up somehow. Like, he's just one of those guys that got really lucky, but he's just squandered all of it. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just he's like a lottery winner that just blew everything he won,
Right. So you think whatever. I mean, if you had like a night show, you would have him on for some reason other than sitting in the crowd and being a heckler or announcer.
What do you mean? Oh, if I had like if I had the Tonight
Yeah,
Show?
like would you see a purpose for someone like Stuttering John on a show?
No, he was a shitty announcer. He's got a stutter. It's not like he's got a great voice. He wasn't
Right.
he wasn't a good announcer. The whole idea of Howard hiring him was that it was funny to have a guy stuttering on the radio, and it was funny to have a guy, you know, asking these ridiculous questions. If celebrities got angry at him, they'd look like dicks because they're like, you know, getting angry at the stuttering guy, right? And Jay, like, I don't know, missed the point of the joke or didn't care, or I don't even know why Jay wanted Stuttering John. I have no idea why.
Just to piss Howard off.
Maybe. And you know, I don't think I used to think Howard like was a really great guy, and I don't really think that anymore with the stuff that you hear coming out, especially with Scott Salem. It's like all these years of people working with him, it doesn't seem to like count at all to Howard. He doesn't seem to have any loyalty to these people or care at all about what happens to them. I mean,
Right. Yeah, a guy with that much fucking money couldn't throw someone a couple bucks.
Howard's just a fucking psycho,
Like,
though. He's not.
used them.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody really.
Dude, the money thing is hilarious when he complains about money. He's like, oh my God, you know, I spent $600 on that. I forget what it was recently. It might have been a gift he got for Baba Booey, where he was talking about some whiskey or something that he got for Gary. And it was like, oh yeah, it cost me a lot. It was like $600. I'm like, what is $600 to you, dude? The guy's worth what, $1 billion at this point or close
Right.
to it.
Right.
It's so weird to hear him ever talk about money.
He's Jewish. Come on, man.
Yeah, cheap Jew. It's kind of par for the course.
Jesus Christ. I wonder if it's maybe he grew up so poor or with such a weird mentality that he just can't shake it. It's like those people that grew up in the Great Depression and they're rich and you find out they're like hoarding all of this money into their mattress because they're so scared of.
I've got a little bit of a Depression era mentality, so that I can kind of relate to. It's weird. It's psychosis.
You don't look that
it's
old.
Not normal.
That's weird.
No, but I'm 38, but I'm just saying I have a weird, like, hoarderish kind of mentality. It's psychosis. It's not, it's, you know what I mean? When you're getting into that level of human behavior, it's their logic just kind of doesn't really apply. You know what I mean?
But, yeah, I mean, the whole Scott's, and what about the whole E crew? Like he kind of just got rid of the whole E crew out of the, I don't know the details, but I like the people that worked for the E channel. They were really great.
How many days a week does Howard do a fucking show now? What is it? What, 1 day a week?
I mean,
why are they not in the studio? He's still doing it from home. Why?
Yeah, well, he's a germaphobe, and plus, I think he just after COVID happened, he was like, "Fuck it, I don't need to go back in there." Whatever they had him build at his house is exactly the studio, so why leave your house? It's perfect for him. I can't blame him for
COVID, by the way.
Just recently, right? Just like the $600 fucking complaint. Yeah, same thing. It's recently. What do you think about him sucking off all the celebrities now that, like, back in the day, he used to destroy them? Now he wants to be with every one of them and close to them and buddy, pal, hang out with them at their mansions and whatever.
Well, yeah, we talked about that earlier. That's why I brought up Red Bar. It's like Red Bar is doing now what Howard Stern used to do. Just, you know, goofing on everybody and everything. Nothing's off limits. And again, I'm not saying I'm the biggest Red Bar fan. I can't because I have too many friends that despise him. But too many, you know, like Sam Tripoli and Joey Diaz are friends of mine.
Shit all over you too. It happened to Aaron. Aaron was a friend of Red Bar. Red Bar just completely destroyed him. Same thing with that what's his face, that other guy, fucking pod awful guy.
But why did
Jesse?
They're horrible.
But isn't it just busting balls again? Like I don't know, man. I think
it's like the worst version of that. It's the meanest possible version of busting balls, is what I'm saying. It's fine, but it's just.
Well, we got Nobody Likes Onions now. Patrick Melton. Have you ever worked with him, Zach? He's a comedian out in Vegas, but he does a show too. Whatever.
Yeah, he's funny. He's brutal.
He notices a lot. Like he's very he's good at finding that thing that every show, whatever, he'll break it down to the nitty gritty. You know what I mean? He'll find that thing that makes the show and destroy it.
There's a
break
word
it
for that.
apart.
It's called insight trolling. He has that insight. He knows how to use he'll analyze you, and that's how he makes fun of you. It's great. It's really, really great. Unless you're the one that's up on his screen.
Right.
Well,
it
it's
does
still
suck when
great. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's still great.
No,
I've
it
been a
makes me
victim of
laugh.
it. He zoomed in on my fucking mouth. It made me giggle. I get it. He's a good he's an entertainer, and he's entertaining.
Yeah.
But
He
my
makes
point
fun
was
of
that
Lemmy quite. He's got after Lemmy quite hard. He's got after
you
me
really?
personally.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
No, we like it. We think it's great. That's what it's all about.
I got roasted
man.
pot awful, and I didn't even know. I was just watching an episode like, oh, he's making fun of Aaron, and then I see my face up on the screen, and it's, you know what I mean? It's at first it's kind of like, wow, but it's definitely funny. It's definitely nice.
Well, you'll be happy to hear that he just lost his channel, so it got taken down.
Who, Jesse?
Why?
Yeah, Jesse Potawful. Deceptive practices or something along
He'll
those
be back.
lines,
He'll be
from what
back.
I understand.
Jesse is like a fucking cockroach. He's never he's one of those people that he'll be the last motherfucker standing. That guy
Well,
is resilient. He's nuts.
Yeah. And he has a pretty good cult following. Like those people that
He
follow
really
his show are literally like a cult. Like
Yes.
it's no one else really has what he has
Yeah.
surrounding his show. It's
Zach-
it's impressive to see that it's not like the biggest show in the world, but the people that are there are fervent about what he's
I
doing.
think
He's got
this is
some
what
moments.
happens. Like talking about Stern, sucking off all the celebrities. I think what happens is when you're constantly trolling and you're constantly getting into fights and making fun of people and they're coming back at you, I think it
Good
becomes
times.
exhausting. I think you just get tired of it. I think there's
Right.
an anxiety or an
Fatigue,
oppression,
right.
and
Right.
you're like,
No,
"Fuck."
I think we suffer from that in the dabbleverse a lot. Like there's never a point where these people can rest, whether or not you're getting stream sniped or there's just endless doxing and like fucking with each other's families and all this other stuff that comes with the dabbleverse. I don't think most people have a clue at first when they're coming into it, and then the next thing you know, you see a picture of your house in a Discord or on someone's screen.
Oh,
on their
everybody's bitching about
YouTube
getting
channel.
doxxed. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
if you're going to be on the
everybody's-
internet, you better be ready to be like out there. That's
Yeah.
all.
I
there
think
is to
I'm
it.
misunderstanding something. When you say dabbleverse, I just assumed you meant all the people that like to goof on John. Is
Mm-hmm.
the dabbleverse? Is that a podcast? Is that what is?
No,
tell me
it's
what-
all the
what is
podcasts
dabbleverse?
all together. I mean, like, they could be at war with each other, but there's so like Shuli, they watch Stuttering John, but Stuttering John fires back. Stuttering John watches MLC and fires back at Kevin Brennan, vice versa. Like it's constant. Melton's part of the dabbleverse now, I would say deeply.
So
there's
what
there's
is
a
it?
bunch
Is
of
it
shows
like
on the edge
a
of the
whole bunch
dabbleverse.
Is the dabbleverse a whole bunch of podcasts that all kind of talk about the same people and
The same
have one
shows, the
boring
same
topic,
items,
right?
topics.
Yeah.
Yes. Events that happen. Like they all just went to AC recently, and there was a bunch of fallout from that. Yeah, or whatever. You see these guys hanging out together in real life, and then the next day they're back to trashing each other in the dabbleverse. So
It's a high school lunchroom, and each podcast is your preferred table that you're sitting at. Is essentially
Right.
what this is.
Yeah, we're idiot high schoolers for sure. Absolutely.
Really mature. A lot of really mature people. A lot of intelligent discussion happening.
I
Yeah,
get it.
it
Speaking of
is.
Zach, can you tell us what high school was like in great detail?
I would like to ask a question. Did Seth MacFarlane sing at his own birthday party?
He did.
I fucking knew
Oh,
it. That pretentious
that's
piece
gay.
of shit.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
pretty
him.
gay.
I
it
love
wasn't a
him.
birthday party. It was a housewarming party.
Oh, a
And he
housewarming
had,
party. Okay.
Had a
Of course he
great
did.
band. Fuck, I forget the name of that band. Really good band. And yeah, he went up there and sang.
Of course he did. I love
That was
Seth
Yes.
MacFarlane.
Fucking great party. Seth is awesome.
Right. So you got to do your magic comedy for many celebrities, correct? I seen that like Dave Grohl and I
Dave
don't know.
Grohl's the
It seemed like you had a
nicest guy on the
long list of people you've worked for.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Dave Grohl was an asshole and that he killed
No,
Kurt.
Dave Grohl's
No, I'm just
awesome.
kidding.
Matter of fact, somebody asked Baba Booey once, they said, who's the coolest celebrity you've ever had on the show? He's like, this is years ago when he answered this, but he said, we've had so many people on, but I can tell you that Dave Grohl is consistently just the nicest guy to have around, the greatest guest. And everybody I've ever known that's run into Dave Grohl always says the same thing. Yeah, Dave Grohl's a cool dude, man.
Except for Courtney Love. You must have never talked to Courtney Love, right?
Yeah, I've never met her.
Not the dude from the
on-
Matadors. I'm sorry. I thought the
No,
dude
it's
from
okay.
the Matadors killed Kurt
What? No,
because he was fucking Courtney Love.
I don't know.
That was
There's a-
Smashing Pumpkins, I thought.
Yeah, it was Billy Corgan.
No, it was the Billy Corgan couldn't kill anything. No, it was the dude from the Matadors. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah,
He killed Kurt Cobain.
I'd probably be on
think
Courtney's
Jamiroquai-
side though. I like Hull better than Foo Fighters.
Jamiroquai did it.
It was fucking Jamiroquai. He did it after Kurt heard his first song. And he
Careful, grandfather, you
Is
laughed.
one shot.
Careful, grandfather, you laughed at one of my jokes.
That's pretty funny though. That's a good
Captain
line.
Miserable.
Is
this true?
Pretty funny.
Dave Grohl has a new song called Zach Waldman Sucks. I have not heard this one.
That's kind of a
would be
quick
awesome.
one. That's a good burn.
That would be awesome.
It's about a long-winded magician.
Oh, you guys.
Meanwhile, there's no song about the grandfather because he's contributed nothing ever.
Boom! Got him.
Well, he
Never
didn't
lived
strip
my
for
life.
us, so
He did have a wonky nip, and then why did you put your onesie back on, Granny? You embarrassed of your nip tonight? What's
his
up?
nipples
It was
look
a
fine to me.
fucking impression, dude. It's an impression. It's not a
I
fucking
mean-
lifestyle.
Did we upset you with the titty talk?
No.
You all right, bud?
Have
Doing
you ever
okay?
known me to be upset? Yeah, I'm fine.
I mean,
I'm fine.
you look greasier than usual.
I'm fucking.
I
I'm
was
fine.
thinking maybe that's like
fine.
a skunk has a defense. Maybe that's your defense. Like you emit fucking grease out of your face when you get all nervous or something.
I don't think nervous is. I think it's probably just the drinking.
Sadness, deep sadness.
What are you drinking, Bush?
Bush Light, motherfucker. What do I look like, a heathen to you?
I'm sorry.
Trans
Yeah.
tears.
I was raised Christian. Okay,
Then what happened to you?
a lot, but a whole lot.
Well, we
I mean,
do
I know.
happen to have a mentalist here on the panel. Maybe he could fix you. He was trying to start working with you, but you're just fighting it all the way tooth and nail. So I don't know. Why don't you give up the fucking act, Granny, and let this guy work
What
with you? He might be able to
fucking
fix your brain and stuff. I don't know. This guy, I mean, obviously he could probably fix your problems.
I cannot.
First of
Zach,
all,
why don't
can
you step in here and work with this guy? He seems
All right, come on,
difficult
Zach.
at the onset, but
I would consider, I don't know, probably killing yourself is probably your best option.
that's actually some good advice. I mean, that's solid.
It's like you call the suicide hotline and they tell you that you're tying up the line. Kind of like that type of
I
thing.
did put that in there while I was listening to you talk. I did put in if you were struggling with depression, I put in the hotline.
Hopline.
Did I say hotline? Fuck me.
For
I
hop
did say
heads.
I said
Well,
it.
I thought for hop heads that are trying to quit marijuana.
Hopping off
The
bridge.
marijuana.
No, come on, yeah, mentalize me or whatever the fuck you do. I don't know what the fuck that even means, but yeah, like what is that?
Can you
like?
hypnotize them to
hypnotize
make him
people?
funny, or at least funnier?
I got
I-
nothing for him.
I mean, like if you sat someone down and you like,
you just talked for an hour and a half. Sorry, Quad, I have to do this. You just talked for an hour and a fucking half. You can't fucking hypnotize me?
I'm not a hypnotist.
Oh. Then what the fuck is mentalizing?
yeah, go ahead, Zach. Why don't you explain that a little bit better to Granny? What is
No,
a
it's a
mentalist?
magic trick. It's like, mind reading, but it's a trick.
What do you like brainwash
okay.
people and then you rank
You
them?
ever see Darren Brown?
Wait, hold on.
No,
Is this
no,
like
no. Okay, wait. Is this something
You
you can
cold
do
read
to
somebody and use people's stupidity against them to trick them into thinking.
Oh, this should be easy with Granny then. Jesus, if
psychic.
there was ever an
Yeah,
easier target for dumb.
Please mentalize me immediately. I need to be
You've never seen a Darren Brown special? Guy's awesome.
No.
But he does mentalism. He's a magician. It's just a type of magic. It's just a magic trick. Mentalism is just
Right, first of all,
like escaping from a straitjacket.
magicians are gay, dude. Magicians are gay
That's
as fuck.
not true. I like magicians.
Magicians are fucking super gay, bro.
What, you don't believe in magic?
No, I don't fucking believe in magic.
In a young girl's
I mean,
heart.
it's kind of cool
Yeah.
that you can stick stuff in places people don't remember and shit.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
but,
exactly.
like,
If you learn to be a
honestly-
mentalist, Granny, you might be able to pick up chicks at like 2:40 in the morning when the bar's closing. You can like trick them into coming home with you. Does that work, Zach? Is that a thing?
I'm in a fucking committed relationship.
You're in a bear suit. Jesus criminy. You got a lot more problems than being in a committed relationship.
Yeah, girls love magic. It's a great way to.
Yeah. Watch me make my dick disappear.
Exactly.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Yeah, all the chicks on Grindr love magic, I'm sure.
Nikki Norton included.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead with the mentalist. Like, could you fix an idiot like Granny if you had some time with him?
I'm not a psychologist and I'm not a hypnotist. I'm a magician and a comedian. I tell jokes. And
I'm not a miracle worker here.
Yeah, right?
Well, as my grandpa used to say, you can't fix stupid.
Who do you think are some of the most overrated comedians?
That's a good question.
Besides Granny?
I mean, people that are prominent. Oh, like who's like the Taylor Swift of comedy?
You.
Like, are there any examples?
I don't know.
So
man.
the most mid.
Brendan
trash
Schaub.
somebody.
How about Brendan Schaub? Go
Trash
after him.
somebody.
That's an easy target.
Yeah.
I mean,
Reicher.
yeah. Look, I guess I just don't care. You know, there's people. Look, Bert Kreischer and Brendan Schaub. There's people that like them. Are you going to tell me that the people that like them are wrong?
Yes.
Yeah, they're just idiots. They're not wrong. They're just dumb.
But I'm just saying,
what
what's the point of trashing people?
Because we want you to trash people. That's why. Because we want it. We
I got
prefer
no
you
problem
trash
with
things.
those guys, though. I'm not going to trash people. Like I said, I don't even
Trash Granny.
I don't even want to trash John.
He can't do it,
Because,
dude.
you know,
He can't do it. He'd call a lesbian hair and look homeless and greasy. All right. Other than that, go. Mentalize me, bro. I need to be
more.
mentalized. Yeah.
But no, I mean, look, the people that are worth trashing to me are like,
That's what I thought.
yeah, dude. I feel like why would I want to beat on the downtrodden? You know, it's just doesn't seem very becoming. It's like this poor guy. I don't know how you have internet access. I'm supposed to then shit on the rest of your life. Like, come on. I feel bad for
Bro,
you.
let me
Kinda
tell
like Tom.
you. Wait, hold on. I need 45 more minutes to tell you about all the people that I've met and my friends. I know this one guy. I do jujitsu. It's just dudes fucking hugging each other. There's a lot of butt fucking going on. He's also a flat earther. Let's see. I know a dude named Tony.
Let's hear names.
All the questions you asked me. So
let's hear names.
Quadfather's asking me questions. I'm answering them, and then you don't like it. Why am I here?
Hold on, no.
See, it's
He
an
asked
hour
you
and 43
question.
minutes in. I did this. What I
Question.
thought,
He asked
I
you
thought this was
question.
going to be a fun like hang, and I've got a fucking homeless guy goofing on me.
And there we go, back to the homeless thing.
That the host asked me. Well, you're not homeless. You choose
I
to look
told
like
you that he was fucking. I told you his Ray DeVito's brother, bro.
Unshowered and dressed like that and look like that and unkempt. Holy fuck!
I'm extremely unkempt.
Yeah,
I just went out in my
Why
fucking
are you
yard and
so
beat a
unkempt?
fucking armadillo to death
here.
for the fucking
No,
yard
Zach. All right, shut
Why
up,
are
Grady.
you so unkempt? Why is it? Why do you look like that? Why are you such a mess?
I was just going to get into that. He is a punk rocker, and he grew up as a punk rocker and has not been able to kick it. It's stuck with him for way too long. Now, Zach, I have a question for you. Do you think all the kids trying to be trans nowadays, do you think that that's almost identically to kids back when we were growing up that wanted to be punk rockers? Like they've transitioned punk rocking into transitioning.
It's the equivalent of my example. I always say it's like goth. It's like when I saw when the whole goth thing was in vogue. And
all right, go fuck yourself.
People were filing down their teeth so that they looked like they had vampire fangs and they were dressing like vampires. To me, that's what trans is now. It's just the latest trend. It's punk or goth or, fill in the blank of the trend, except now it's a trend that instead of filing down your teeth and going through life with vampire fangs, now you don't have a dick.
Yeah, trans people do seem a little emo. I can see that being conducive to the,
Yeah, emo's another one, yeah.
Where did Granny go? Where'd he go?
Was he also goth? Is that it?
He rage quit.
Yeah, you ran him off finally. You did a good thing, though, trust me. We prefer it. So did you make a deal with Satan to become a magician?
Yeah,
I'm a Christian, and I'm sitting next to possibly a someone who made a deal with the devil so that they could do magic. Is that a fact? 100% or somewhat
all
percent?
Magicians are the vast majority of magicians are just really socially awkward people that use magic as a crutch to fit in with other people and try to get through life. I've never walked up to a girl and tried to do a magic trick to pick her up. I've had girls that have approached me after I've done a show and they like the show, and that's cool. But most magicians, I like to think that I evolved and outgrew that, when I was in high school. But most magicians I know, they never outgrow it. They can't talk about anything other than magic. If they go to a bar, within 5 minutes, they're performing magic for everybody at the bar because they have nothing else to talk about and they're really socially awkward. So yeah, magicians are the opposite of Satanists. They're very uncool. And it's a really weird subculture. I belong to lots of subcultures, and magic is maybe the worst of all of the subcultures that I'm involved in.
Oh, it's worse than the dabbleverse? Finally, we found something worse than the dabbleverse, magicianry.
I would say jujitsu is the best culture.
Right.
It's
Agreed.
Fucking fantastic people. Just really interesting, open-minded, disciplined, really helpful, great people. Complete opposite of the magic community. But look, I love the magic community, but I have a relationship with it.
So you brought up the Magic Castle earlier. Can you explain what that is? And is that like the all-seeing authority?
As long as I don't.
No, I'm curious about it. I don't care. Fuck my audience. Fuck them. They can listen to it and fucking enjoy.
Questions and then getting shit on for answering the question.
No, really. Like, what is there like an all-seeing authority above magicians? Is it through the Magic Castle?
No,
the LA area. Is it kind of an authority over LA area or California?
No. National Magicians Association.
Well, why'd you have to do an audition to get in there? It's just is it like a comedy?
Yeah, the Magic Castle is a private club in Hollywood. You can only get inside if you're a member or invited by a member. There's two different types of members. There's magician members and associates. Associates pay a ridiculous amount of money to be allowed to go into the club. Magician members pay way less money, but you have to pass an audition to get in. And then once you are a magician member, it's a separate audition to actually be a performer there. So I perform in the close-up gallery, which is all the close-up sleight of hand magic. That's the room I work when I work the castle. And that's basically it. It's an old Victorian mansion with several bars, several theaters, a restaurant. Everybody's got to get all dressed up. There's a really strict dress code. You get dressed up, you walk around this mansion, and you drink, eat, and watch different shows. It's pretty cool. There's no place in the world like it. It's pretty amazing.
Right. Yeah, I've never really heard of it.
Where do you live, Quadfather? Where do you live?
Oregon.
Oh, okay.
I'm not that far away. I'm West Coast at least.
If you're ever in LA, let me know. I'll hook you. I'll take you there. I'll show you around. It's a really
Right
cool
on.
spot. A lot of memorabilia there. It's a neat place.
You're not trying to have sex with me right now, are you?
No. I'm trying to have sex with Adam.
I'm not from
I'm trying to
Hollywood, and I'm not going to fuck your mouth.
I'm trying to make Adam jealous and see if he'll fuck me.
Ooh, I'm super jealous.
$2, Granny. Zach is proof Asperger's is real. I don't see Asperger's at all.
I think it's really funny. All I'm doing is answering your questions, and I'm just getting shit on. What a pleasant experience. I'm sure I'll be back on this podcast.
No, you have no idea. I'm telling you, the entire Dabbleverse is based on you going on shows and super chatters or chatters totally tearing you in half.
Don't feel
that's the purpose of the Dabbleverse.
I've been
It's not good
accused of
for an
autistic,
ego.
yeah.
Right.
When I was
Yeah,
12, I used to be part of the BBS world, which I'm sure nobody knows what the fuck that is. BBS it stood for Bulletin Board System, and this is pre-internet. This was the 80s on Atari 800s and Commodore 64s on 300 baud modems, and it was the exact same shit as the Dabbleverse, but it was a bunch of like 12 to 16-year-olds on dial-up connections doing the same exact thing. So I think what it is, I got all of this out of my system when I was 13. And this is nice.
Yeah.
This is like, it's nice to see how it's evolved with
This is
video.
like your junior high reunion. There you go.
I feel like I'm in middle school again, and the technology is way better. But I had no idea.
And the super chatters are way funnier too.
I mean, I feel like
Adult
it's
super chats.
to be
Well,
fair.
I'm glad you explained it to me. I get it now. At least now I understand what's happening. I wish I knew that going in.
To be fair, though, I feel like it's possible to ignore it and to not let it get to you too much. You know what I mean? I feel like some people.
It's better to laugh at it. Laugh at yourself. Come on.
I mean, to a
That's
certain
what it's
degree,
all
you can
about.
laugh at yourself, but it'll eventually get you. There'll be a day where somebody, and that's the inside trolling, somebody will say something about you in the chat that is so dead on. It's right. They're right. It's insightful, and you just got to take it. You just got to take your fucking hits sometimes.
Let me tell you, I would just laugh. There's nothing anybody could say about me or to me that I haven't already heard. It's like,
well,
when
you're a red bar guy though. Like it's the same shit, man. Like
I am not a red bar guy. I only
no,
use
I'm
it as
saying
an
you
example.
understand that. You understand that though. Like
100%.
that's what all of these shows are. Is just people that would be a part of an army that wants to fuck with people. Sometimes we'll have 100 people here shitting on us. Sometimes we'll have 100 people here fucking enjoying our show. It's hit and miss. It's definitely.
I'll tell you what. I think
Mr. Doom, by the way, in the chat.
I think I keep making a rookie mistake lately, which is going on podcasts without knowing what I'm getting myself into. Like a couple years back, what's the name of that girl that used to date Benji? And she's got
Elisa
a podcast.
Jordana.
Elisa Jordana.
You've been on her
Yeah.
show, and it was a shit show, right?
Yeah, so I had no idea what they wanted me on there. Somebody she's like, we'd like to have you on. We want you to do a trick. So I was all ready to do a magic trick, and I had no idea what her show was about. And I'm waiting my turn, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and the show is fucking awful. I can't believe people watch that shit. And I'm like, really? This has an audience? Like, I really suck at YouTube that I can't be more successful than this pile of shit. And I didn't know that her whole format was just bouncing around from person to person and doing sound bites. I thought I was on there to be a guest and to do a magic trick. And
her audience is psychotic.
No, she's an insane cunt, and so is her audience. 100%.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I just never would have done it. Same thing with this. It's like, oh, okay. I didn't know what the Dabbleverse was. I didn't know it was a bunch of kids.
And if you'd have known, you wouldn't have done it. No,
I wouldn't
I'm
have.
joking.
Because I know I just got other shit to do. I got, magic to practice. I've got porn to watch. I've got a steak to cook. I got things to do. But this is an education for me. I've learned something. Stop going on podcasts that I know nothing about.
David Chandler, remember for too much. Shout out North Country BBS. What's the BBS stand for, Lemmy?
Bulletin board system.
Well, Zach,
that's
you're
what
still
I-
coming to my show, right?
Sorry, that was dumb.
I ran one of the most popular BBSs in the 80s in South Florida. This is how long I told you I loved comedy and magic since I was a kid. This was about 1986. I ran a BBS on an Atari 800 XL called the Comic Strip, named after the Comic Strip Comedy Club in Fort Lauderdale. And it was the same thing, dude. It was all we did was shit on each other. The guys that ran BBS.
Literally?
Well, I mean, don't you hang out with like kids? You do magic. It's not like
I don't perform for kids.
Oh, seriously? You don't go to like school, any
no.
of that stuff?
No.
They don't pay? They don't pay, huh?
No, but I'm way beyond that. Have you been on my website? Do you see the shows I do? Have you seen
yeah,
my
I've
latest
watched-
promo video? Play my latest promo video. No, dude, I perform at very high-end private parties and corporate events. My clients are Google, Apple, UPS. You know, I mean, no, I don't fucking do
Right.
kid shows.
Well, they pay good too, right? Obviously, doing corporate gigs is a way better
That's
to
the whole
perform
idea,
for.
yeah.
Right. Balls Deep gifted 1 BYB podcast membership. Thank you, sir. Pew, 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 pew.
Ooh, Balls, my man.
Yeah, Balls Deep's great, man.
Shout out to Gino Bobina too, by the way.
Yeah, the guys that ran BBSs were called sysops, system operators.
Sissies.
Yeah.
Are you guys talking BBS? Are you guys talking about black people's dicks or what is this? Sexual.
We'll let you sit in that for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just let you sit in it.
That's fair.
Let them cook. No, kid shows. No, dude. I did kid shows when I was a kid. No, I don't do kids' birthday parties. But hey, man, I know guys that are rich from doing kids' birthday parties. To be honest with you, you get an average kids' party, pays $500. You do 4 on a weekend, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday. It's $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not a
not too
bad
bad.
living. For 4 hours of work a week, it's not bad making $100,000 a year. And I know people that charge more than $500 a show. They're making a lot of money. So, but no, I specialize in corporate events and like really high-end private parties.
So when you do like Comedy Store, I know you were passed at the Comedy Store, correct?
No, never been passed at the Comedy Store. No.
Oh, okay.
Never even auditioned to be passed. I've performed there. I've been invited and I've performed, but I would like to get
In what
passed
capacity?
just as a comic, just someone says, hey, we've got a show. We want you on it. And they're doing a show and they make me part of the lineup. I've done all the room. I've done the Laugh Factory, the comic, the Improv, the Comedy Store, Flappers. I was a regular at Flappers. I guess technically I'm past at Flappers. They just never book me anymore. I don't know what their deal is. I think there's this one girl that I pissed off, this comedian. And I think because I pissed her off, I think that's why they haven't had me back. It's just
What
a
happened?
hunch.
Tell us the story. Is it funny?
She sucked. She was not a good comedian. It was this, they do this thing, this comedy contest. And there's a couple of paid spots. The host is a paid spot. And it's a contest where everybody in the audience votes. And while they're tallying up the votes, they need someone to go up there and entertain the audience. And that's a paid spot. Doesn't pay much. It's like $100 for a 20-minute spot. But I like doing it. And a lot of times they would bring like a variety performer and like a magician or something just to break it up. And so I was doing it almost every week. And I liked it. Gave me a place to work on material. And I like Flappers, cool club. And anyway, this girl who's not a real comedian was not being paid. Just, they're basically, for the most part, they're like open micers that are doing this comedy contest, maybe like slightly better than open micers.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they pass the round, they go to the next round. It's a whole thing. Anyway, she's up there talking about how you should, I don't know if it was like you should fuck the clown at a party. She's like, I was at a party and there was a clown and I fucked the clown and you should fuck clowns. Clowns don't get on and on and on and on about it. And so when I got up there, I was like, I really liked what she had to say about fucking clowns. Don't forget, a lot of times at a party, there's also a magician, and I'm a magician. So be sure to fuck the magicians too. And then when I got off stage, she walked up to me and gave me this whole fucking went off on me. Hey, why are you targeting me? That was really inappropriate. I'm like, whoa, I was just bouncing off of what you said. She's like, but it seemed more personal and it was directed at me and as a woman. And
sounds like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened with me and Lemmy because I've always had issues with her fucking a clown. Granny.
But I told her, I said, look, I'm really sorry. Last thing I want to do, again, there's never any malintent with me.
But you're never going to appease somebody that's offended like that. You should have just told her, shut the fuck up, bitch.
Well, you know what I mean? But you know what?
Jeez, Adam.
I'm just tired of these fucking people.
I don't want them to be upset. It's like, okay, you're upset. I offended you. Sorry about it.
You can't control that. They're going to be upset.
What's with all these unfunny women?
Yeah. But if I told her, if I said, hey, you know what? I was just adding on to what you said. If you can't take a joke, you shouldn't be in a comedy club. Take a walk, you dumb bitch. Then I definitely wouldn't be invited back to the club. As it was, I have a feeling she went and complained. That's because right after then, like I haven't heard from them.
It sounds like you on this podcast. Captain Miserable, Zach used to perform parties on Epstein Island. Is this true?
Shit, I wish. That'd be good money, man. Talk about fucking
probably would be good money. Right. Yeah, all the world's connections. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I'm not. I would like to get past at the Comedy Store at some point. I have a way to audition there, and actually I haven't done it because when I audition there, I want it to be like undeniable. I want to kill so hard that they have to pass me. I don't want to do it and not get passed. So
yeah, we've had a guy named Earl Skakel. You might be familiar with him. He shuts them down often. Like the last comedian of the evening, that like the important position, the all important position at the Comedy Store. What's closer.
His name though?
Earl Skakel.
I don't think I know him. Yeah, they used to call that the Sam Kinison spot, and then it was the Brody Stevens spot.
Exactly.
Then it was Brian Holtzman spot. I love Brian Holtzman, man. That guy's the best. Nicest fucking guy. So
now it's the Earl fucking Skakel spot. So you remember that. So if you're there, it's shutting. Do you go there still?
I was gonna say, I just realized I haven't been at the store since like Jesus Christ, where's the time gone? I haven't been in there since the pandemic when you had to have a vaccine passport. I have a friend that's dying to go that I told him I would take him. So yeah, I'll go there soon.
Dying of?
Out Earl. I'm gonna go there soon and check out Earl. See how he's closing that spot out. That is the most fun spot. It's my favorite spot to watch.
It's like at 2 a.m. or 1, something like that. It's late.
Yeah.
Whose dogs are barking? I can hear somebody's
No,
dogs.
that was an owl, wasn't it?
An owl, really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's a couple of them out there yelling at each other.
They're probably hunting this time of night.
They're probably trying to fuck.
They sound like they give a hoot.
They're gonna have some mice and fuck. Eating mice and fucking is a great time. David Chandler coming in, gifted 10 BYB Podcast memberships. Thank you very much, sir, David Chandler.
What do you get for your membership?
You're the best. What's that?
What do you get for your membership?
What do I get? We charge $3.
Like when you become a member, what do you get?
Oh, okay. There's 3 different levels. Basically, the first level you just end up getting a free show that we do on Sunday afternoon, and it's for members only. So like an entire show. What's that?
It's like Amway. Different levels?
No, we're not doing a pyramid scheme. We're not doing some weird sales either. We're not going to sell you a bunch of junk that'll end up in your fucking trash can in 2 weeks.
Did Granny really puss out and rage quit?
Oh, you have no idea how much of a pussy this guy is. And all he cares about is playing video games and not learning comedy from comedians. That's his main thing.
He was going to come back. I thought he was. Yeah.
Me too.
I don't miss him. I'm totally fine with it. I'm okay with it if you guys are okay with it.
I'm fine with it. Is Lemmy? Is that Lemmy's boyfriend or?
Yeah.
Use the living fuck out of me. Did I puss out? No. I couldn't fucking bear you anymore. Was the
Not
problem.
you're a
And he
pussy.
called me God.
Bury him. You never even said a joke. What do you mean bury him? You never said anything funny.
What, you want to fucking bury him? Damn near fucking curing him.
There we go. Let's let him sit in it for a minute.
Yep.
Let's let him stew on that horrible attempt at whatever it was.
Oh, it's
Not
out
even.
there
I won't even say.
fucking an owl, dude.
Yeah, you got him all fired up. Now what? Now what are you gonna do?
Up. I shouldn't have said his name. I didn't think he was gonna come
Yeah.
back. It was
Well,
nice without him. Yeah.
He always comes back.
Yeah. Sometimes you bury them out in the pet cemetery, and sometimes they come back. Not the
What
same
comes
as
back
they were,
won't be a
though.
granny.
Exactly.
Sometimes dead is better. Zach. So let's talk about what spectrum you're on, because I think it's a lot. Like, I don't know, is it graded from like 1 to 10 or?
Where's the evidence that I'm on the spectrum? I don't see it.
There's almost 2 hours of it. This entire goddamn show.
Of answering questions I was asked that makes me on the spectrum. What do you want me to do?
Sometimes dead is better.
So you should ask me a
weren't
question.
asked questions. You just went into shit and just would not shut the fuck up. Like, I don't. How many podcasts have you been on, brother?
I haven't. Anytime anybody started talking, I stopped talking. If you want to,
Yeah, you should take notes.
I could just sit here. I mean, I could do what Lemmy does, and I could just sit here. I like Lemmy.
See, this is my fault because I usually interrupt people a lot more, but I was like, tonight I didn't really want to step on anybody's toes.
Shut up, Adam. Shut the fuck up.
You can interrupt me anytime. I'm just answering the questions I was asked.
All right.
Go ahead, Granny. Yeah, this is your hosting position. You're trying out. This is your audition. You're auditioning to become a magician and a comedian, Granny. And you're getting to interview one of the greatest comedian slash magicians of all time. Now go.
All right. How good are you at roasting? Because from what I've seen, it's been complete dog shit.
It's.
Would you?
Do you want me to roast or do crowd work?
Oh, roasting.
I'm trying to help you out. It's your first question.
Okay.
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, I'm a heckler here. Okay, I'm in a fucking bear suit. I got red hair. I look like a screaming lesbian. So I come up to you
horrible.
and
I'm horrible
say,
at everything. I'm horrible at roasting, crowd work. I'm horrible at life. What's your next question?
okay, terrible.
Horrible at everything.
Next
What's your next question?
All right. Why are you a braggart that really cares about the people that he's met?
I'm really ashamed of being a braggart and a name dropper, and I'm trying to correct that. What's your next question?
All right. What's it like to be a California fart sniffer?
It's awesome. Next.
When was the
Did
last
you write
time
these
did an
down,
ass-
Granny?
Is that a thing? California
Zach-
farts? And I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
I know that he
California fart
starts
sniffer?
every sentence with
That sounds like a song.
You're basically like Stuttering John, but with a slower stutter. But continue. Go on. Next.
All right, next question. Let's see. If you for superpowers, right? If you could suck.
Did you just Google a question? Jesus.
No, I didn't
criminy.
Google shit. My fucking hands are right
You
here. My
just
other
said
fucking hand
if
was
you were
up.
a superpower,
This
if you
is
had
a
a
web- no, no.
superpower about sucking
I said
penises.
if you could suck a dick for a superpower, if you lick the tip, you're Aquaman. If you blow it to fucking completion and let him blow in your fucking mouth, you're fucking Superman. How far are you going?
I'm not sucking any dick under any circumstances. Next question.
Good answer, Zach.
Clark Kent. Okay.
Granny, tell them about the time you did open mic. You're a comedian, right, Granny? Obviously.
No, I'm just some fucking.
Tell them about the
asshole.
time you were shooting pool and doing comedy or whatever. Come on, tell them. Tell them.
What?
You have an established career. Why don't you tell them about it? Go on.
I don't. I just it's easy to suck, and he's doing it well, and that's the compliment I'm trying to give him.
Wow, that's unbelievable. I never expected this out of you, Granny. You've really taken a turn.
I know. I listen, and that's why I left, because I didn't want it to come down to this. He called me goth. I got a little upset. He's sitting there looking like fucking Jeff fucking Epstein's older brother.
By the way, I didn't
Jeff?
call you
You
goth.
look like
I
Jeffrey
said,
Epstein.
I never called you goth. I said goth is the same thing. It's a
no,
trend.
the fuck, that's calling me goth,
tranny.
fuckface. That is calling me goth.
Oh, okay, then you're goth.
Because you're trans? He was equating trans to goth, not punk.
All right.
Son of a bitch.
Let's get back to this. You have a very interesting Perry Farrell story. Would you mind telling us that? Maybe this could totally change Granny's mind about you and totally turn this entire show around. I have a feeling.
I don't know how you know that story. I guess I've told.
I was on a show with you with Adam, and we got that out of you. But I thought that was a great story. I was curious if you don't mind repeating it.
Yeah, not Grillo. It was Ganji, right? Mike Ganji.
Sounds right.
Ganji was working for the E channel for Stern and would record guests. After they did their interview with Stern, they came out of the studio. Ganji would have a handheld camera and would go, "Hey, how'd everything go on the show?" And like a post-interview interview. And it was something they did for E, and Perry Farrell came out, and he had just talked about some gay stuff he had done with Howard. Not with Howard, but he was discussing with Howard gay things he had done. And Ganji said, what was it like, revealing that you had some gay experiences to Howard? And Perry answered however he answered. He goes to Ganji, he goes, have you ever had a gay experience, a homosexual experience? And Ganji says, no. And Perry Farrell reached over and grabbed Ganji's crotch and said, well, you've had one now, and then walked away. And that's, I don't know if it made it to air or not, but Ganji just looked at me like, holy shit, Perry Farrell just grabbed my dick. So that's the whole story. Right. I don't want to make it any longer because I don't want the goth kid.
No, that's kind of unfortunate because the only stories that he likes dragged out are the ones about guys grabbing each other's cocks. That's his favorite. You can tell that by the color of his hair anyway.
Not true.
No, which leads me to my next question. Is Howard Stern undercover gay? Recently, his hairdresser, what's his name? Vinny, or
Ralph.
Thank you. Ralph Sorello. Recently he had passed away, but a lot of people have guessed or imagined, maybe in their minds like Granny has, that those two were indeed gay lovers, which Granny never shuts up about. He loves that talk.
I don't care, and I don't think so.
But did you ever see Howard Stern sucking penises? That's what we're more or less asking here.
Never. And I loved Ralph. Ralph was a really nice guy. He was.
What do you mean you loved him? Like how?
I kissed him deeply, held him closely. No, he was just a really nice guy. Ralph was cool. That was really sad. That bummed me out. That seemed to come from nowhere. I don't know. Maybe Ralph did some gay stuff. I don't know. I don't care if he did. Not interesting to me whether he did or he didn't. Howard, I don't think has ever done anything gay. I don't think. Then again,
Jack, you ever seen a grown man's butthole up close?
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. I thought it was just a question. Sorry.
You haven't? You don't shave your asshole?
No, I
won't. Hey, Granny, you got any stories for Zach by chance?
I love the turn this is taking.
Yeah, we'll do story time with Granny for Zach time. It's your turn, Zach. You can listen to a long, drawn out story. Let's say a certain person wanted to see another man's asshole get waxed and paid for it. Go ahead, Granny.
It wasn't a certain person. It was several different people. And yeah, old girl over yonder, she waxed my asshole live on camera.
Because people paid him to. Is there anything gayer than getting... That's like prostitution, right, Granny? Gay prostitution. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'll be like Zach. Not that there's anything wrong with gay people and gay stuff and totally being a gay-mo like you, Granny.
Well, he's got to live in L.A., so, you know.
I just don't give
rather
a shit.
wax my asshole once a week for the rest of my life than be a fucking magician. And I'll tell you that right the fuck now.
Yeah, it sucks making a ton of money entertaining people. It's horrible, horrible life.
Yeah, I just think it's gay. It's fine. Like there's no hard feelings.
When someone picks a card and you find it, that's the same thing as sucking dick, basically. I agree.
Yeah, fucking yeah. Little column A, column B. Yeah, absolutely.
Rip up a newspaper, put it back together. Same as kissing a dude.
You know what? You know what's not gay? You know what's not gay? Streaming in a onesie with a "I'll fucking do it again" background. That's not gay at all. It's
what is that,
the furthest thing from gay.
Is that a Dolan comic? That's Gooby from Dolan.
No. Yeah, I just Googled it, dude. I'll fucking do it again, too.
No, it's fine. No, I'm not criticizing. I recognize the character. It's from a...
Yeah, it's some shit.
Well, let's round this out. All right, you guys shut up about your comics. I don't give a fuck about your comic books. Zach,
next one, Derek.
Let's get back into the comedians of the New York area. So you worked with the guy that they based Kramer on, Kenny Kramer. Is that right?
Yeah.
Kenny Kramer. You travel around with him for like a year. What's the deal with him being like? What about him made a character on Seinfeld? Like, is that guy in real life similar to the character that you saw on Seinfeld?
Well, I'm still friends with Kenny. I worked with him actually for about 2 years. He had a tour in New York City called Kramer's Reality Tour. And he was a comedian himself. And the first hour of the tour was in a theater, and he would tell stories about how things in real life became episodes of the show old video clips of Larry David and things from like that show Fridays, which was basically like SNL, except on Friday nights. And then he would take them on a bus tour of New York with the Seinfeld theme, take them to the Real Soup Nazi, the diner that they, everything was shot in LA. So all the tour was basically a tour of establishing shots, like the outside of the diner.
He was a comedy before Seinfeld, and then after Seinfeld happened, he became a fucking tour guide. How the hell does that end up happening?
Well, no, he was always a comedian, and it wasn't like being a tour guide. It was like he was doing stand-up while, giving a tour. It was like a comedic tour. And like I said, the first hour was in a theater where he was doing basically stand-up and showing old videos and shit. But it happened because on the show Seinfeld, you're looking down the hall, Jerry's apartment was on the left, Kramer was on the right. In real life, Kramer was on the left and Larry David was on the right. And Larry David was his best friend. And
which one was on the side of the Kenny Rogers restaurant and had the red lights keeping him up all night?
I forget.
I'm just kidding. It was obviously written in. That was like the writers.
Yeah, but that was based on a real thing. That
really?
Was based on that was based on a real news story. There was one of the writers for Seinfeld saw it in the news and then made it into a Kramer story. The real story was there was a guy who was being bothered. I think he was a lawyer, and he was being bothered by the light, and he asked them, nicely to turn it down. They told him to fuck himself, and he knew he had a constitutional right of free speech to put up a sign that said, chicken below sucks. And then when they saw that and realized it was a free speech thing and they couldn't do anything about it, they finally worked out a deal with him so the light was not shining in his apartment.
It's a bad chicken. It'll mess you up.
But to answer your question, the real Kramer
yeah.
The real Kramer was a lot like Kramer on the show. The main difference was like the physicality. Kenny Kramer doesn't, walk into rooms like a spaz. He's not like this crazy physical animated guy. That's not Kenny. But the mentality, like the ideas, a lot of that shit is stuff that Kenny really did. Kenny really was going to build levels in his apartment, for instance.
Oh, wow.
There was a lot of things that were really based on shit Kenny did. And sometimes, he's still one of my closest friends. And, when we were hanging out all the time, there would be things that would pop up. I'm like, that is the most Kramer thing. Like, it's funny. He's a great guy.
Did he feel screwed over by the show, though? He must have been complaining a lot, right? No,
never complaining. Larry's like one of his best friends. Why would he complain about it?
Well, because he probably feels like he was the basis for the show. You know how people are. You know how people get.
Sheila aliens, how dare you? The worshipping of has-beens tangentially connected to Howard Stern or being on radio decades ago needs to stop. You need to stop telling us to stop.
I agree, by the way. The last thing, I did not think I was coming on to talk about shit from 1997. I honestly thought that I was coming on just to be part of a panel and we were going to like goof on shit going on in the world. I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
All right.
Zach, I
what do you think of Donald Trump?
Fuck you, Quad. I want to tell you a story, Zach. My mom gave a hand job to Sam Kinison in '84. Fucking take that,
didn't.
buddy. Yeah, she did.
I believe you.
He was preaching.
Right? Yeah, before he was a comedian, Sam Kinison was an actual preacher. An actual preacher. Like grew up in his father's church.
You can find video of that on YouTube of him preaching. Yeah.
Right. And if you look at his very early work as a comedian, it sounds a lot like, you could kind of see that in there.
I mean, you can see that. He's kind of a boisterous guy. I could see.
Right.
Yeah.
Kinison in his prime was the fucking greatest. My God, I love that guy. He was awesome.
And my mom jerked him the fuck off. Eat shit, Zach.
No, I think it's great for your mom. I don't know why I should eat shit. I'm proud of your mom. That's awesome.
All right, yeah.
Did he yell at her after?
Would have been cooler if she was
screaming orgasm.
Yeah, she jerked him off, and then the very next day he ended up getting killed.
Who are some of your favorite comedians you worked with in New York City? Or whatever, anywhere. I guess I don't have to fucking
a million.
cut it.
God, I haven't lived in New York in years, but when that's where I started in Orlando, but I really started in New York because there were so many more places to perform. But dude, I admire so many comedians. Norm Macdonald was one of my all-time favorites. I auditioned at the comic strip. Jim Brewer, like the way they did it back then was they would mix in the people auditioning with the real comedians. And I bombed horribly. I was still really green, still an open micer. And Jim Brewer was on that same lineup. And so that I got to see Jim Brewer live and just kill. I've always loved Jim Brewer. I think he's a good dude, really funny comic.
Is it weird to pretend like you're drunk and high? Like that whole fucking bit, the whole thing about being like, he does just come off as a fucking stoner looking dude.
That you don't even smoke weed.
But he doesn't drink or smoke. He doesn't do anything, but yet he played that entire character, was in the movie, Half-Baked. Yeah, exactly.
I just said it, Mark. Jesus Christ.
It's only one of the most important movies of the 90s, but I fucked it up. My brain is crippled
all the way around.
Yeah, what do you think about taking on personas like that? Like, I'm the stoner guy.
He was an actor, right? That was the role in the movie. I don't think that was something like when he had his show on Sirius. He didn't pretend to be a stoner.
No, I was talking more about a stand-up. His stand-up is definitely that way.
But even in his stand-up, he would joke about how he looks that way, even though he's not that way. I don't know.
I love the pizza guy stories. Did you guys ever hear him tell the fucking stories about the pizza guy? That was always funny.
I don't remember.
A good storyteller. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you, bro.
Go ahead. No, tell the story. Adam, tell his story. Go ahead.
It's not a story. I'm sorry.
No, let's hear it. No, go ahead. Tell us about the time you saw Jim Brewer do the pizza story.
Bit.
Do it.
No,
Go.
I'm not going to do the bit. No, I'm sorry.
Why not?
Do the whole fucking bit immediately.
Listen, I brought the show to a grinding halt. Okay, you made your point.
Again.
I'm sorry.
Can you add the again to the end of that sentence?
Yeah, again.
I'm more interested in this. Lemmy is the grandfather's girlfriend?
Yeah. Cousin, too. I mean, not just girlfriend, cousin also.
She seems so sweet and pretty. I don't know how. My God, this is it's like Stuttering John having a career, him having a girlfriend. It's fucking amazing.
Isn't it wild?
Yeah. It's shocking.
Can you believe someone actually fucks Granny?
No, I can't. It's fascinating.
See, this is the divide and conquer strategy, right, Zach?
Something like maybe it doesn't show, but maybe something's really wrong with Lemmy, and I just don't see it.
Oh, you have no idea. Like all these people that are supposedly like Me Too people. She's a huge defender of sexual perverts. Let's just say that. Go ahead. We can go down the list. The Rick and Morty guy, whatever. Fucking Chris
Justin
D'Elia,
Roiland was venerated.
Exactly.
Hey,
my point. Thank you.
16 is technically legal. How
are they ever going to do that show without him, too? They kind of need him.
They did. I
They
actually
kinda need
watched
to look the
seventh-
other way.
Listen,
Yeah.
hold on.
Who's
I
going to
actually
touch
have
the
an
little
opinion.
kids and stuff?
No, the 7th season was actually pretty good. The passion's not there, but the voice sound is there. They'll get better at it, but it's decent enough to watch.
Don't even get her
It's
fucking
still a good show,
started
yeah.
on Harvey Weinstein, dude. Don't even get her fucking started. She will go off about how Harvey Weinstein did nothing wrong.
I like this Lemmy more and more. The more I learn about her, the more I like her.
As a mentalist, Zach, how long would you predict? How long would you predict that we've been together?
What is he going to
How
start?
old are you?
Well, too long was the right answer, but go ahead.
How old are you?
How old do I look?
Granny? Well, I meant Granny. I wouldn't ask Lemmy her age.
How old does he look?
30.
50? Oh, he's 36?
Yeah. He's
So
36.
I get the feeling that you're the kind that have maybe been around, you've been together a long time. So I think maybe like you were high school sweethearts and you just never separated. If not that far back, I still think you've been together a long time.
Yeah, it's been quite a bit.
10 plus
I already
years.
said they were cousins. They met at a family reunion, so that's pretty impressive right there.
Let's
gonna
say
be
10
like
plus years.
This is going to be
How
like the
long?
mholtdivorceclock.com.
How long you been together?
8 years.
What is
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years.
We've
Yeah.
known each
Aw.
other since we were children, though.
Disgusting.
Yeah, you do seem like more like siblings than romantic partners.
Well, first cousins, close enough.
I can't imagine him opening a door for you or cooking dinner for you. I just,
No, that's never happened.
Yeah.
And I heard that he's a very selfish lover, too. He knows what
Yeah,
he wants, and he
by his
gets
own
it.
admission. Yeah.
Yeah.
He always finishes first.
Is he a bed peer?
Granny?
Yeah.
I bet he says before he comes.
She did not. Lemmy did not answer that question quick enough for me to believe anything, but yes, he is a bed peer. You took a fucking second to think about it, so therefore we know the answer. Thank you, Lemmy.
Wait,
I'm a
every
mentalist
night?
too. I don't know.
Not,
the name.
not every fucking night.
I could read through bullshit. I can do that.
It's not every fucking night, okay? It's
And no one ever said it was. Is he a bed peer? Was the simple question.
All right, so we're going on 2.5 hours. I had no idea. I was gonna be here
Right. We're
this long.
halfway there, bud. Yeah.
Okay.
We're halfway done.
I'm getting the
So this
fuck outta
couple couldn't
here.
make it another 2 hours if he tried.
What else? How long do you normally go for real?
About 3.
This is a long
Ish.
shit.
You're supposed to say all night, baby.
No,
Okay,
usually Usually we'll let the guest hang around for a couple hours and then they pop out and then we keep fucking around. So if you want to do your plugs.
Anything else you want to ask me before I go?
Yeah, on the scale of 1 to 10, how shitty of a host is Granny?
He's all right. If it wasn't for him, I don't know that we would have gone in the directions we've gone into. So he's all right by me. I think he's okay. I bet he'd be a fun hang. I bet he'd be a cool guy to go to a concert.
It's a good egg.
Zach, I got a question for you. How dare you?
Fuck you.
I'm sorry.
Dude,
I'm just kidding.
He dares.
You know I love you, Zach. I'm just fucking around, bro.
You guys are awesome.
No, we appreciate you coming on.
Adam's always been a fucking good dude. I mean, Adam and I became friends since like he had 1 subscriber on YouTube. So I mean, I was there.
He still does.
Zach was number 2.
Yeah, man. No, Adam's the shit. All you guys are cool.
Aw.
Lemmy is still my favorite.
By any chance, you repeat that?
You guys are the shit?
No, Adam. The thing about Adam and how wonderful I am, and feel free to say it again.
He's trying to suck his own dick, is what he's doing.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah. Let's see. Twitter's the only one you left. I mean, Instagram's the only one you left off there. That's at Zach Comedy Magic on Instagram. And yeah, that's it, man.
You got any events you got coming up? Anything you want people to know about? Are you doing YouTube still?
Dude, I've got a ton of shows coming up, but they're all private events. Like I'm going to Seattle for a corporate event. I'm going to Miami for 2 different corporate events. But none of these are like public things that people can go to. They're all, private events. The last time I was on with you guys, I threatened to start YouTubing again. I really should. I don't know. I've never been successful at it, and I just feel like I need to find an angle. I definitely don't.
I got an angle for you. The Granny and Zach show.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Bro,
I know that I don't want to be a part of the dabbleverse. That's the only thing I know. Is I already did the dabbleverse when I was a kid, and it's a good time when you're in it, but I think I'm done with the dabbleverse.
Oh, come on. It's a great place to be.
Next time I'm on Stuttering John show.
Yeah.
Yeah, next time I'm on Stuttering John, I'll send you the link so you can just sneak in. Maybe he'll see your face and have a change of heart.
That would be funny. Best thing about the dabbleverse, no drama. There's no drama, no doxing.
No shit talk.
By the way, let me ask you, something I don't understand is why doxing is something anybody gives a shit about. Like growing up, you had 2 phone books. You had the yellow pages for businesses and the white pages for residential. So back then, if you wanted somebody's name, number, address, you had literally a phone book. You just looked it up and, oh, there's my neighbor's phone number. There's this person. You had somebody's name. You looked up every Schmidt in the phone book.
That was before DoorDash. Now you can go out there and destroy someone's life by sending them a couple beers and a tub of sour cream, for example.
I don't understand. Like you used to be able to send pizzas to people's houses.
That you still can. What do you know?
You
can send pizzas to people. You used to, but you can too.
Yeah, the thing about swatting is that you could
swatting is different. Yeah. Swatting is I'm talking about doxing. The idea of everybody knows where I live. Who gives a shit? Like it's not that hard to figure out.
If anybody wants to send me some Uber Eats, I like McDonald's, so that would be totally fine with me.
If anyone wants to send me a prostitute or a lady Zach, that you can get full on Granny.
I'm winding down. I was hoping I'd make you rage quit one more time before I left.
I wish. See if you can make him rage quit forever. That's the ultimate goal here.
Your favorite band, Skinny Puppy?
No, dude, that's grunge.
He's a Gigi Allen lover.
I love Gigi Allen.
Anything to you?
Hell
my God, Adam, you'll never be back on this fucking show, you piece of shit.
No, you don't like Gigi Allen.
Yeah.
Fuck
Metallica
you,
sucks
Gigi Allen
dick,
did
and
nothing wrong.
Fuck
yeah,
you,
and
dude.
Dimebag Daryl got exactly what the fuck he deserved.
Fuck you, Granny.
All right. Well, fuck Pantera and fuck Metallica And fuck all you fucking
All right.
pussy pop
Let's
metal
send Zach off with a positive note, you
Do you
idiot.
live together? Does Lemmy and Granny, do they live together, these two?
Yeah.
No, separated.
We're about to watch a domestic violence incident go down here.
Yeah,
I think Lemmy
James
could, I think
Hetfield, I will smother him.
I was gonna say, I think in
Wow.
a fist fight, I think Lemmy would kick his ass. I honestly do.
I wouldn't. It's
No?
happening. I hear a stampede. He's coming in here.
Oh, he's coming in. There you go. Oh, geez. You got to defend that choke right away.
Don't you do it. Don't you
Two
do
hands
it.
on the choking arm.
Be
To
like
the moon,
fucking
Alice.
hour now.
Get out of here.
I'm gonna teach her jujitsu so she fucking.
Now, I've never been knocked out or beat up, but I have been choked out completely one time.
Well, I've been knocked down.
The guy got
Get
me.
up again.
in
You're
a
never
good-
ever gonna leave me down. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, whatever. In a real street fight, I've only been choked out. So I guess technically the guy could have killed me or whatever.
How do you do in street fights
Technically.
now that you're in a wheelchair? Does that affect your ability to fight people?
I protect my yard with an AR, but no, I don't physically do jack squat, Adam, as you well know.
Are you? You're in a wheelchair?
Yeah. Quadfather, that's because I'm a quadriplegic.
I just figured
No,
that out.
it's
used
not
to know
obvious.
these-
It's a weird
There was a
moniker.
podcast I used to go on. I went on it a few times. What the fuck? It was like
Is it the wheelchair podcast?
It was something like that. Like one of the guys, I think, was a quadriplegic, and what did they? I think they were kind of popular at one point. It was like one guy was like Crip Daddy or something like that, or
Crip, he's dead now.
rest
Did
in-
you know that?
Yeah, rest in peace, dude.
Crip Donovan, Crip Daddy Donovan, he passed away last year.
Choked on a piece of pizza, dude.
He opened for is it Hinchcliffe? Tony Hinchcliffe? No.
You know what? I think I got the wrong guy. I think I said Crip Daddy, but I don't think that's who it was. Fuck. It was like both of these guys that hosted this podcast, they were both in wheelchairs. And it was like the Rolling Crips, or what the fuck was, I don't know, man.
It's a cryptic.
They were, I wonder what happened to those guys. Let me see if I can figure it out. See if you know these dudes.
Oh no,
yeah, he
Keanu!
said Crip
No,
Daddy.
no! This music is unacceptable. No, Keanu Thompson. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Yeah, I don't know the rest of that song either, Keanu. I'm
That
with you
album
on
is
that.
good. The entire
No.
album is good.
But
That is
You
the
are
worst song
fired.
on the
Never
album.
gonna knock you
The
down.
whole album is really good. I was
Stop.
obsessed with it.
Sing the night away.
Smash Mouth
Jesus
died
Christ.
too.
I thought this would be an easy search. I
Shut
didn't
the
know there.
fuck up, Smash Mouth.
I didn't know there were so many podcasts with
he
people
died.
in
With
wheelchairs.
cripples.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck else are they going to do, Zach?
Well, this is one of the good ones. I think
Basketball?
this is the best disabled persons. Is that the right way to say it, Derek? The best disabled persons.
You can just call me a
podcast.
cripple. I prefer. That's fine.
Okay.
I
Nice.
have no idea what this was called. This was years ago. Those guys were cool as shit, though.
Cripcast.
Something like that, man. That's the problem. There's so many that are like that. I can't find it. I think.
But
they
there's
got-
only one quad father. Don't you fucking forget it either.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Oh, wow, that was enthusiastic response that I was looking for.
I was about to ask how this happened, and I realized you must be so fucking sick of telling the story.
Just like you telling all the stories you've told tonight, almost like
Exactly. 100%. That was what stopped me. I'm like, that's 100% why I stopped. Like, I honestly didn't think I was going to be talking about shit from 1997, but I was like, because I've told all of these things so many times. But that was really what stopped me. I'm like, yeah, he's going to feel exactly like I do telling the Howard Stern story again. It's like,
No,
all right,
for
here it
sure, for
is
sure.
again.
No, I got wasted drunk and I tried to jump out of a tree and do a flip into like an above ground pool, and I just I hit the bottom, neck
Seriously?
first. Oh yeah, for sure.
Now,
Yeah.
Zach, I'm going to need you to cry and start a GoFundMe.
I got drunk once and I was just shit faced, and it's hard to explain, but it was like I was almost, I think, on some level. Well, I won't say that. I was walking by this elementary school like at 3 a.m, and there was
Picking
a
up
baseball.
kids, huh?
Yeah, at 3 a.m. There's lots of kids there, and they had there's a baseball field there, like a little league field. That's part of it. And I was shit faced drunk, and I climbed the fence and jumped over it. And when I landed like fucking square on my foot, and it pushed my ankle bone into my shin bone and shattered it. I broke my tibia, my fibia, the tail, everything below my knee. I fucking destroyed it. Had to have surgery, rods put in there. It was fucking horrible. And it's like the number of people that fuck themselves up getting drunk. And I remember just how awful I felt that I did it to myself, that it was just, there was nobody even with me. I was like, I'm drunk. You know what would be fun is jump over the fence and run around the bases because I'm a fucking drunk moron. Wasn't even trying to entertain anybody with it, just entertaining myself. And to hear your story, it's like
Nobody was watching me either.
Really? You were all on your own?
Yeah,
So
I
how
was
did
there
you
by
not
myself.
drown
I
in the
just did it
pool?
because I was a drunk idiot, just like you just said.
How
Exactly
did you not
that.
drown in the pool? If you
I did drown in the pool and I died, and it took my mom spent 17 minutes giving me CPR till the paramedics came.
How did anybody notice what happened to you?
So it was on a Labor Day and everybody was eating dinner, so that's why there was nobody by the pool. But I was whatever doing my own thing. And so yeah, my stepdad in the middle of dinner decided to go put chemicals in the pool. And he
Wow,
went
so it
down there
wasn't even
and
like-
saw me floating.
So it wasn't even like they noticed, like, hey man, I don't even know your name. What's your name?
Derek.
So it wasn't like, oh man, Derek's not joining. Let's go see what happened to Derek. It wasn't like that. It was just he randomly decided he should put chemicals in the pool.
Out of nowhere in the middle of dinner. Yeah, like as if,
What a
hey,
fucking crazy
I'm gonna
story.
stop eating dinner right now to go put chemicals in the pool. So I
And
believe it's a
craziest
God thing.
part-
And you
The
seem
craziest
so
part, Zach. He just threw fucking chlorine on his unconscious body and walked away. His mom had to come
I
give
wish.
him CPR.
Them sons of bitches brought me back from heaven or wherever I was headed. Sons of bitches.
What's amazing is you seem happier and have it more together than Granny does. That's what's amazing.
No, fuck cripples, dude.
Yeah,
They're
maybe he should
pieces
be
of
the one
shit.
in the fucking wheelchair, right?
You
Yeah.
got any tree? Hey,
I mean,
Granny, you got any trees worth climbing out in the front yard? Go give her a rip, bud.
Wow, man. Well, that's
I got a kiddie pool.
that's a fucking amazing story. Holy shit. That's the
And yeah, I
craziest
did.
shit
I
I've
totally drowned, and it took me months to get all the fucking water and infection out of you. So apparently, water in a pool is dirtiest fucking water around. No matter how much chemicals you put into it, if you drown on pool water, you will get a horrible infection every time.
Really?
Come to find out, yeah, not a good situation.
Zach, do you want to hear an even funnier story than that? Is that when John learned that Derek was in a wheelchair, he started crying on this very podcast and offered to start a GoFundMe for his cause.
Wow. Was it real tears? Was it real tears, or was it like
no.
I believe it was. That was genuine caring for a
wasn't.
person
No, it
that's
wasn't.
in need.
Fuck
Granny,
you, I'm glad you're in that goddamn chair.
Granny, Stuttering John cares deeply about people. I don't give a fuck. Oh no, Keanu, stop it! You're hurting my feelings. I drown in pool more than ever. Come on, let's sing the song. I drown in the pool more than anyone. No one can ever make me drown.
God damn it.
I get more drowned
No, yeah,
than you'll ever get.
that is real, Zach. If you go back and check out some of the podcasts.
Wow, no, I
yeah,
believe
he
him.
did.
Does your dick
Yeah,
still work okay?
Yeah.
Wow, so
It works.
Wow.
I don't know if it's
Yeah.
okay. It's not great, but it works. I get a boner. That's what I'm saying.
You still have sensation in your dick?
Yeah. No, like that's the weird thing, man. Like I broke the ability to move, but I can pretty much feel my entire body, which it's good, but in some ways kind of sucks too.
Man.
But
Talk
yeah, I can get a
about-
boner, ladies. Sheila, aliens. I
How
can
many
get
years
a
ago
boner,
did
by
that
the way. 11 years, 12 years ago now. 2012. Yeah, 12 years ago.
Wow, that's a fucking wild story, man. I always say alcohol is the worst of all the drugs, man. Every really
it takes away
bad
your
decision-
inhibition.
Yeah,
it's not
every
good.
really fucking regretful thing I ever did was tied to alcohol. Like
Same here.
I've done all the drugs and none of them
Same
ever
here.
caused me a problem except for alcohol. You know, it's like I never got in trouble like smoking weed, you know, or eating mushrooms or smoking meth.
You've never had any
Yeah.
crazy bad trips, Zach?
The craziest trips I ever had were on salvia, which I don't know if you could still just buy it anywhere, but you used to be able to just buy it fucking anywhere in Venice.
Lemmy smokes salvia. She loves it. She's all about
Do
it.
you?
Isn't that what you smoke, Lemmy?
Now, salvia is
No,
gross.
I smoke
Oh.
regular just regular weed.
Granny,
Salvia
for
tastes
example,
like-
he grew up pretty much huffing paint. That was his big thing.
I'm a fucking house painter. Go fuck yourself, you crippled fuck.
Well, I mean, technically, you huff paint, right?
I guess.
If you're
yeah,
wondering
I guess.
why he seems a little slow and low IQ, he has burnt a lot of brain cells. Let's just say that. Paint thinner, lacquer thinner, all that stuff's not good.
What did you do before the good Lord gave you what you fucking deserved?
I didn't paint.
All right.
Do you work now? You have a job?
Kinda.
Well, shit,
Directing Granny to not be a total moron every freaking episode we do.
Sure,
It's
you
kind of
have-
my job.
You have a job. You're a podcaster.
Right.
I
Is
worked
that a
9
job though,
hours
really?
today. Came here to fucking listen to you tell boring stories. Yeah, I've got 2 goddamn jobs if I'm fucking concerned about it.
I came
That
here to
was
listen
the most
to you
boring
go,
story.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was fun putting him on
I'm
the
gonna be
spot.
really
I'm going to do
quiet.
that more
I'm gonna
often.
I'm going to say the most horrible things I can to my friend in the wheelchair. Isn't that shocking? It's like 90s shock culture all over again. I'm wild. I'm going to say he deserves to be in the wheelchair. I'm crazy. Oh, no. Now all I can see is him.
No,
Okay.
really? Yeah. No,
Dun,
he
dun,
deserves to be in that
dun.
fucking wheelchair, and that motherfucker will say
Why would you
the
say that? Because
nastiest
you think
shit
it's- you
you've
think
ever.
it's really crazy to say that? Like, why would you say that about him?
No, because crippled people are a fucking nuisance, and secondly, he would fucking do it to me.
Why you would
Two
deserve
wrongs
it.
don't make a right, Granny. Grow up. Really. I mean, this
Two
guy's got a point.
autisms.
Okay.
Two autisms
guy-
don't fucking
this guy
fix
gets it.
anything.
I don't know. I
Fucking-
see a guy that I didn't even know have a disability. This entire time, I had no idea he had any kind of disability. Another guy I've assumed the entire time is disabled. So,
Mentally.
yeah,
No,
Adam,
no.
are you gonna sit here and fucking take that?
Why don't you just explain to him you were born with an extra chromosome and we'll just fucking move on, Granny? Just get it out of the way.
I wasn't. The guy's slow. He looks like a senior citizen. I'm trying to be kind.
I look like a senior citizen. Oh, that's
Wow.
hilarious.
I think he
Yes,
looks.
I was gonna say I'm in really great shape. I look fucking amazing. I know how handsome I am, Granny. You could try to pull that card, but come on. we all know.
Are you over 55?
No, I am not. I'll be 50 in less than a month.
Ooh,
Good
you
for
could
you.
be like Ray. I am 50.
Big 5-0.
I am
5-0 coming up.
50.
Yeah, man, I'm pushing 40.
I've never been happier, honestly.
We can tell.
This is the life has never been better than it is now. It's fucking great. I mean, I wish I had the last 3 hours back, but other than that,
Okay. Yeah,
I
me
will-
too, brother. Me too.
Yeah, it's something we can all agree on. You're goth, and we both regret this podcast.
Fuck you. Yeah, I'm fucking out of here.
Hey, I had fun with you, Zach. I always have fun doing this podcast, right,
Yeah,
Derek?
that's good.
I
Yeah.
had fun with you
Yeah,
guys
you've been
too.
on quite a few times. But actually, we've kind of brought it to the time where we're just going to go ahead and say goodnight. So,
Yeah, man. No,
you
thanks for
actually
having-
stuck it out for an entire fucking 3 hours, Zach. Holy shit, man.
Woo, good job,
I wasn't
dude.
trying to. I was trying to leave way like 20 minutes in. But
No, I know. Yeah, I can't blame you.
No, I'm kidding. You guys are great. Lemmy's my favorite. I like Granny, despite him being a little bitch. And
Besides
no,
it being Granny.
I love all you guys. You guys are cool as fuck. Every time I
Aw.
hang with you, it makes me think I should be doing more of this. Maybe I will. I just got to find a way to do it where it would be fun. I don't know. Maybe I'll
absolutely.
enter into the dabbleverse.
Whatever you do, don't podcast from
Well-
like a hospital room or something like that.
I mean-
that wouldn't be fun. That would be like
You know what the
that would be
Dabbleverse needs is one more show that covers Stuttering John. And you would probably fit right in. You don't like him already, so there you go. There's your start.
That's not true. I don't dislike Stuttering John.
Oh, fair enough.
I thought he was like not that cool with me, and I thought he was really came off as a douche with Chrissy Mayer. If John called me right now and said, "Hey, dude, let's bury the hatchet. I hear where you're coming from. I never responded to you, even though you kept hooking me up with shit. I get it. I'll be a better friend. I'll respond to you when you call me or message me. Do me a favor, take that video down and let's just be friends again." I'd be like, no problem. Dude, it'd be like, okay, John, we could be buddies again. I don't hate John. I don't think about John except for when I'm talking to Adam. It's like,
my fault.
For
Put it on
us.
me, Zach, right?
no, you guys are awesome. Have a beautiful night, everybody. Thank you for having me. I
Mhm.
appreciate it. And
absolutely.
hopefully we'll hang again. And next time, hopefully it'll
We
be-
won't let Granny on next time. I
We'll,
promise.
we'll pick a different topic other than me. I had no idea I was the
Yeah, well, that's how these go, right? Like, this is our feeling out episode, and next time we'll talk about like how you put people in a trance so that you can take their panties off. We'll do that.
exactly.
Just
That
like
sounds good.
hazing. This is hazing.
Cool.
No, I like it. I had a good time with you guys. It was a good hang. Have a beautiful night, everybody. And I'll see you soon.
Yeah, later.
All right,
Yeah.
later, man.
Thanks. And of course, Adam Goldstein. Go ahead and check him out. There's all your stuff. You got anything coming up, brother?
Not really. I think I might start doing some shows again soon. I'm sort of like the groundhog. I periodically emerge to do shows once in a while, and pretty much like I
Right.
came out of my hole. I didn't see my shadow, so I guess it's 6 more weeks of me not doing anything. But eventually,
enough.
when I feel like it, I'll do a show. So yeah, I guess maybe come and subscribe to me. I guess whatever. Yeah.
Well,
And thanks for having
okay,
me.
with
on.
that ringing endorsement of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother. And of course, Lemmy, what do you got? You got show in the morning today without Monday? Yeah, I guess you do.
Yep. 8:30 tomorrow morning. Come hang out, listen to music, drink some coffee, start your day off with some dopamine.
Yeah, awesome. Granny, why don't you go ahead and I'll put your plug up here. You're kind of doing Corn's deal. That's pretty much what you got going now, right? Corn.
I love Corn Diff. He's the
Yeah.
man.
Corn Diff. There we go. Let's
Yeah.
get Corn out here. Shout out Corn Diff.
Tuesdays, Thursdays, and occasional Sundays. But yeah, always Tuesdays and Thursdays. Come check us out, man. We just have a good time. It's not about the dabbleverse or anything. It's just
Shut the fuck
few
up.
dudes and hanging the fuck out. Yeah, no, fuck you.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Why were you such a piece of shit to our fucking good guest tonight? That's fucked up, dude. Why were you like that? Now that he's gone, I want to get this out of you. This is bullshit. Why did you act like that?
But it's in my nature.
I had to fight my whole life. I could beat you up even if you had 1,000 knives. Even if you had infinity knives, I would punch you up into the air like a kite. I bet you sleep with the night light, cause you're scared of the dark. cause you stink like a fart. Well, I like your fart on fire with my rhymes. You think I won't? I do it all the time. I bet I got more money than Jay-Z. Compared to me, Jay-Z is lazy. Plus Beyonce thinks that I'm cute. It's okay, Beyonce, I think you're cute too. I made out with so many girls. I made out with every girl in the world. I might look small, but I'm not. I don't care if you're big, I'll fight you. Well, I do know that I am the baddest of them all. If you ain't about money, then I don't mess with y'all. Y'all think I don't get girls, cause I ain't very tall. If she see my stats, I bet you that she calls. Cause I am the baddest of them all. If you ain't about money, then I don't mess with y'all. Y'all think I don't get girls, cause I ain't very tall. If she see my stats, I bet you that she calls.
Analingus.